This one just getting started as Jae So of Korea delivers the second pitch of the night to Karim Garcia, the center fielder for Mexico. And two teams with loaded pitching staffs. We're expecting a low-scoring game where anything might happen. Dave O'Brien, Rick Sutcliffe, Eric Harris, and Duke Castiglione with you on a chilly night here in Southern California. The temperature is in the upper 40s. So uncommonly cool. As Garcia cuts right through it and misses. We'll give you a look at the standings in this particular Pool 1, Round 2. The United States with a 4-3 win over Japan this afternoon. That was in the bottom of the ninth with 2 out, a bases loaded single by Alex Rodriguez up the middle to drive in the game-winning run. Garcia, who played for Japan last year for the Oryx Blue Wave, fouls one right back to the net. They count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You could tell with the infield defense playing him to pull that they either want to pound the fastball up and in, or so will go with his best pitch, EK, which is that great changeup.
Well, and you also know that Team Korea did an awful lot of scouting, wanting to find out what there is to know about each Mexican hitter, wanting to know how they played their games in the previous round.
Swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch, 83 miles an hour. Pretty good changeup. The money pitch for Jae So. And he strikes out the first batter of the night, Karim Garcia.
These changeups have gotten so good for pitchers these days. To me, it all started with Greg Maddux, that they have turned an off-speed pitch, which used to be just a pitch that they could put in play, into a power pitch. He set it up with the high fastball. He finished him off with the changeup.
Well, here's a guy that can finish off a pitcher in no time flat in Jorge Cantu. You see he's hitting .385 so far for Mexico in the first round with 2 home runs. And the home run that he hit the other day against Canada has not come down yet in Phoenix. It traveled 460 feet.
Yeah, it was on one of those change-ups. I tell you what, boy, he supplied all of the power, and there was plenty of it.
And, man, is he some kind of strong. He looks a little bit wiry. He is tall and strong, and Eric, he can rip those hands through the hitting zone.
Well, he has tremendous hand speed, and when you have tremendous hand speed, that's going to equate to great power. What I like about Cantu, he says he reacts to the ball. He doesn't try to guess with the pitcher. He sees it and hits it.
Big star on the rise for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays as he slices that one foul back to the net. He's been getting all of everything in the swings lately against South Africa. That was in round 1, Pool B, and that was a chip shot for him.
Yeah, he just went down and got that one. This one was a mistake, inner half off speed, and he too even had to take a second look to see if that ball ever would come down.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Cantu. The Mexico captain Vinny Castilla on deck as So misses down and in.
That changeup of So's has so much movement that it looks a lot like a left-handed breaking ball when he really rotates it.
The right-hander to the plate. Swinging a high pop-up into left field. Young Kyu Lee along the line to put that one away. 2 down.
Well, Cantu just missed that pitch. It was down and in. He dropped the head. Just got underneath it a bit. But you can tell by how high he hit the ball, he got a good barrel of that one.
So not this time for Cantu as he's denied a big fly.
That pitch is down and in, and Cantu just wasn't quite able to get extension on that. If he gets the ball out in front a little bit, that ball is traveling for miles.
And tonight, you really have to hit it to knock it out of Angel Stadium in Anaheim, given the chilly air. Not that Vinny Castilla can't do it. He certainly can. He has outstanding power still.
Well, Dave, he took a page out of Chipper Jones's book when he told me tonight, he says, I'm going to get one tonight.
He promised it.
He says he's going to hit a homer.
Chipper did that the other day in Phoenix in his first at-bat of the World Baseball Classic against Mexico, and he didn't wait. The very first pitch he got in the Classic, he knocked it out of the ballpark.
Well, Vinny Castilla would know about that. 315 career homers. No one in the history of Mexico has hit more than that in the big leagues.
Cuts and misses there on the breaking ball. 1 and 2. You look at So's numbers against Chinese Taipei in a victory in round 1. Very clean, couple of walks there, but no runs, just a pair of hits and 3 strikeouts. Korea advancing with a perfect 3-0 record. Little trickler Park to charge at short. Up and over to Sung Yup Lee for the out. And the side is retired. More clean work out of Jay So. He gets Mexico 1-2-3, and Korea is coming to bat for the. That's Team Korea's skipper In-shik Kim, a former pitcher in the Korean amateur leagues who has coached and managed in the Korean baseball organization since 1986. Here's a look at the starting lineup presented by MLB 06. The show, and they lead off with the left fielder Byung-Yu Lee.
You know what, and he is a five-tool type guy. His swing will remind you a lot of Ichiro. He's got the same kind of power that Ichiro showed in the first game against USA with the home run. He can bunt for a base hit. He is really their table setter.
Eric talked about Sung Yup Lee, their top slugger at first base, number 3 hitter, all up against the right-hander Rodrigo Lopez.
He's a special kid. When I was a pitching coach in 1996, he pitched my first pro game. He threw a shutout there. He had a shutout going against Team USA until Derek Lee took him deep in the 4th inning. He's just an outstanding competitor. The tougher the spot, normally the better he pitches.
Byung-Yu Lee, the first man to test him here. And for the LG Twins in Korea, he hit .337 last season to win his first Korean batting title. They call him the hitting machine. And only strike out about 50, 60 times a season. And by the way, he can also pick it. He's won 5 Gold Gloves. That's in there for a called strike from Rodrigo Lopez.
Well, and unlike this Mexican team, the Korean team is a lot more selective. They don't go up there hacking at every pitch. They will make the Mexican group throw strikes.
Little topper along first base. Foul. Rodrigo Lopez for the Orioles last season won 15 games. 15-12, an ERA of .499, made 35 starts for Baltimore. That tied for the most in the American League.
Well, his main pitch is a cut fastball, and he can do a lot of different things with it. He can throw it hard in the low to mid-80s. He can take something off of it, and he can get on top of it, making it look at times like a curveball. But it's all the same pitch and all by design with the change of speeds.
The pitch to Yu Lee is down low for a ball. 89 miles an hour with a fastball. 2-2. Rodrigo looks younger than his 30 years. 6'1", about 190 pounds. And he is in the strike zone. Lashed at, fouled away for a strike.
Well, and if you watch Lopez pitch, he mimics a lot of things that Greg Maddux does. The way he stands on the mound, the way he has the ball in his glove, and then he kind of pulls it out a little bit and taps it. And if you're looking at him right now, and you didn't know, you could say, hey, that looks like Greg Maddux.
Yeah, the windup very similar. Fouled away, just a piece of it by Byung-Yu Lee. Kind of an awkward-looking swing on an inside pitch. Now, is that by design when you take a look at his delivery?
There's a little bit of hesitation involved. And again, as we look at that back leg, the power, the balance, the hesitation. And, you know, he can pause up there a little bit longer if he sees a hitter starting to lean a little bit. Very intelligent.
The 2-2 popped along the left field line. Garcia giving chase, but that'll sink into the stands.
Well, and not that anybody's stuff is like Greg Maddux, but Rodrigo Lopez, he relies on trickery, moving the ball around, changing speeds. He's not going to overpower any hitter, and what he does, he makes the hitter get themselves out. He is not going to strike people out. He is going to make the hitter hit the ball but miss it off the end of the bat, get jammed.
My report is that you absolutely carved up Maddux. So over your outstanding career with the Dodgers, that is inside for ball. I don't know if anybody carved him up. What did you hit against Maddux?
No, I didn't do well. I know you're saying, but I did have, in my defense, I had one. I think I've got the most total bases off him in one game.
Is that right?
That was I had 3 years or 4. I don't know.
3-2. Fouled back by Byung-Yu Lee. Well, great to have you along with us. Dave O'Brien along with Rick Sutcliffe and Eric Karros, former big league pitcher, of course. Rick Sutcliffe, Cy Young Award winner and a former Rookie of the Year in the National League, like all those Dodgers were. He had like a run of like 15 in a row, right? One Rookie of the Year in the National League. And Fernando Valenzuela also on hand here tonight, who did it as well.
Well, Sut was a little before my time. We had that shot in here of the 3 of us. I know you guys could probably tell out there.
I was going to say Cy Young, but he also did win the Rookie of the Year. That's absolutely true.
Well, that was before Rodrigo was born. There's a man that had a lot to do with the success of Rodrigo Lopez. His hero, Fernando Valenzuela.
chopper down to get it. Vinny Castilla, and a nice off-balance throw to get young Yuli at a long at bat, really extending Rodrigo Lopez. One man out. Now defensively here for Mexico, a look at the outfield of Luis Garcia and then Karim Garcia, and Mario Valenzuela in right field, and Juan Castro there at short.
Well, Juan Castro has manos de oro, which means hands of gold. As good a hands as anybody I have ever seen. Doesn't have the great footwork or the great speed, but can catch anything.
Gene Young Lee, the center fielder, steps in and takes a strike.
I'll tell you what, I think defensively that infield is as good as any that we will see in this tournament. Gonzalez is outstanding at first.
Foul back out of play.
Well, I think you're right. You look on the left side of this infield, though. Again, Castro doesn't have the range. Vinny Castilla, obviously, at this stage of his career, doesn't have the range he once used to. But if either one of those guys get to a ball, it's a vacuum. They're out at first.
Slice foul off to the right and out of play, and in a big crowd as well. We're expecting somewhere in the area of 40,000 here tonight to watch Mexico take on Korea here in game 2. About 33,000 were here earlier today in a game that started at 1 o'clock Pacific time to see the United States knock off Japan, as that one is fouled away. Rodrigo Lopez, the right-hander, 15 and 12 last season for Baltimore. Let's go downstairs to Duke Castiglione.
Had a chance to talk to Rodrigo yesterday, and he told me that he only faced one hitter in this lineup before, and that's Hee-Seop Choi. So I asked him, how do you go about this, having no scouting reports, no real feel? He told me, you've got to do what you do best. Let them adjust to you.
I'll tell you one thing, too. Ike and I talked with Hee-Seop Choi before the game about facing Rodrigo Lopez. He said, yeah. I said, how'd you do? He said, well, I hit a homer off of him in spring training. Is that right? He said he hit it on his birthday off of Rodrigo. So right now, Rodrigo, believe me, he remembers that. He'd like to go 1, 2, 3 and have Hee-Seop Choi lead off in the second inning.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he approaches Hee-Seop Choi. Hee-Seop hit a fastball. Will Rodrigo go at him with fastballs or breaking balls? It'll be an interesting matchup.
One ball, 2 strikes, bases empty, 1 out. Lopez has that pitch smacked down the right field line, but foul. So you mentioned it coming into the first round of hitting here for Korea, Eric, that Korea is going to be pesky. They're going to be not really a swing from the heels kind of team the way Mexico is, and certainly the way the United States tends to be, as that one is into the dirt.
Well, they are a bit more disciplined, and they're going to have to see a lot of pitches. They're going to try and get the opposing team's pitch count up. Look, the big hitter is Sung-Yup Lee. There's no question. Hee-Seop Choi is also going to have to do some damage offensively, but the rest of these guys just put the bat on the ball, be pesky outs.
Sung-Yup Lee is on deck, by the way, the big slugger for Korea. Breaking ball, line to the left. Garcia will not get there. It'll drop down for a base hit. So Jong Byung Lee is on in front of Sung-Yup Lee of the Yomiuri Giants. Here he comes.
That might be the peskiest of all of the Korean hitters right there. Lee with an outstanding at bat, taking the fastball the opposite field so that he could stay back on anything off speed. Now he's at first base, and I'll tell you what, he's a guy that can run as well.
When any time a guy gets on that can run ahead of a power hitter, the power hitter loves it, because the pitcher has 2 things to worry about. He doesn't want that runner to steal a base. Because of that, he may throw more fastballs, which fits right into Sung-Yup Lee's wheelhouse.
And you're exactly right. What happens too with that speed as a pitcher, you got to get quicker to home plate, and a lot of times if you get quick with your lower half, your arm doesn't catch up, you leave the fastball up, and boy, Lee does love that.
Sung-Yup Lee, count this as an audition. He would love to play in the United States in the major leagues, and so far the audition's going pretty good here in the World Baseball Classic, because he has hit and hit for power. This home run against China, and in fact he did it again against Team China.
Looked like a replay, didn't it?
inside the Tokyo Dome. And
boy, a good compact swing. You like that high finish.
Played for Chiba Lotte in Japan last season. And in 9 seasons with the Samsung Lions, he hit 324 home runs. He was just 26 years old when he hit number 300 back in 2003. That was the year he belted 56, breaking Sadahara O's single season record.
Well, we had a chance to speak to him yesterday, and he did say the ultimate goal is to have an opportunity to play baseball in the United States. He played in Japan last year. He signed a contract with the Yomiuri Giants. Next step, the big leagues in the United States.
He takes that one inside for a ball. So the count 2-1. One man out, just getting started here. Mexico and Korea in the World Baseball Classic. If you missed it, the United States defeated Japan earlier today 4-3 in a marvelous game, marked by clutch hitting from Alex Rodriguez and spectacular defensive play by Team Japan. And a major controversial call as that one is blocked by Geronimo Gil at the plate to keep the runner Lee at first base. 3 balls and 1 strike.
I tell you what, that's got to be a huge hit for Alex Rodriguez. He said many times he would give everything up just to have an opportunity to win it all, to get a World Series ring, or you're talking about the World Baseball Championship here, and he helped them take a big step with that win earlier today.
Lopez fires, cut on and missed. That one disappeared at 82 miles an hour. Right under the bat of Sung-Yup Lee, and it's 3-2.
That's again one of those spots where it gets tougher. A lot of times that's when Rodrigo makes his best pitch. Just a good change up there. You got a good fastball hitter, a fastball count. He looked for it. Rodrigo able to get that second strike.
Let's see if he throws it again on 3-2. The runner goes, swinging a drive, sucked to right field deep, sailing, and it is gone. The third of the tournament for Sung-Yup Lee. This young man is going to have a whole lot of teams looking at him for Major League Baseball if he continues to swing the bat like this.
Well, this is what we talked about, the power surge. 4th home run of the tournament. You know, if he continues to do this, a Major League team is going to have to take a flyer on him, bring him on over. This pitch is an inside changeup. I think Rodrigo wanted to go back outside with the off-speed pitch. He left it over the middle half of the plate. And anytime you do that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble as a pitcher.
And let me correct myself. That is his 4th home run in the World Baseball Classic. Not his 3rd, his 4th. Also hit one against Chinese Taipei. We showed you the 2 against China. That sends up a familiar face in the designated hitter, Hee-Seop Choi, who's been in the United States playing in the major leagues for some time. So far, he is 3 out of 11 in this tournament. Hit 15 home runs for the Dodgers last season.
You know, he's moved around a little bit. He's been with the Cubs, and you know, he's got so much power. There's so much potential there, EK. Just 26 years of age. I mean, the best is yet to come.
Big Choi fouls that one back on a wicked cut, 85 miles an hour from Lopez. The first Korean-born position player in Major League history, and he did that on September 3rd, 2002, and he joined the Chicago Cubs. Last year used extensively as a pinch hitter.
You know, there's so much to that too, making that adjustment not only to playing baseball at the big league level, but adjusting to everything else that's involved with it.
He swings, got under this, and he lifted it into right field. Valenzuela to make the catch. 2 down. Back to Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod today the star in the United States victory over Japan. Bases loaded, 2 out, 9th inning, 3-3 tie. And that's a winner up the middle, the game-winning hit. And a celebration for the United States in what was a tense, taut, hard-fought game. Really an outstanding 9 innings in a much-anticipated game between those 2 world baseball powers.
Well, it was really an entertaining ball game and had just everything you could imagine. And what made that hit for Alex Rodriguez even more important is they had an opportunity with the bases loaded and 1 out and were unable to bring that run in.
I'll tell you what, they had a lot of opportunities too to lose that game. They fell behind 3-0. I mean, they just kind of picked away, a home run here, a 2-run homer there.
Gene Young Lee fouls this one out of play, the right fielder.
Ichiro came up 2 different times with the winning run at second or third base, was unable to cash in. Great game to watch.
Yeah, but what they'll be talking about in Japan was that call that was blown, obviously, when the home plate umpire, Bob Davidson, overruled Brian Knight, the second base umpire. Brian Knight had to call right, but it wasn't his call. Bob Davidson took charge. He took charge when he shouldn't have.
Fouled back to the screen. Sadaharu Oh, the legendary home run hitter and the Team Japan manager, was commenting on that after the game. As you might guess, he was quickly asked the question about it, and he was very classy in his response, but he also said it's unimaginable that something like that would happen in a game in the United States.
Well, I agree with him, and I'll tell you why. Because once an umpire makes a call, I don't care if he's the right guy or not, once he distinctively makes a call, to overrule him, you have to be positive. And obviously, Bob Davidson was not positive. He guessed, and he guessed wrong, and it cost him to go ahead and run.
Let's go back to that play, 8th inning. Game tied at the time. Japan thought on this play, the catch by Randy Wynn, runner tagging at third, they had taken a 4-3 lead. On an appeal, initially the ruling was he had not left.
You know, probably the guy that deserves the most credit is Buck Martinez, the manager of Team USA, because he came out and questioned it. I mean, he's right over there in the third base dugout. He could see that he did not leave too soon, but yet he came out. He said, hey, the wrong umpire made that call. That's your call. Are you sure he got it right? He did not. And because of it, the inning ended.
I think the biggest win of the day so far today in the World Baseball Classic belongs to Buck Martinez. Cut on and missed by Gene Young Lee for strike 3, but Sung Yup Lee connected again for the 4th time in the Classic. A wicked cut, driving the ball out to right, and just like that, it's 2-0 Korea.
ESPN2's telecast of the World Baseball Classic, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Cool night here at Angel Stadium of Anaheim in Southern California, the World Baseball Classic. It's round 2, pool 1. Mexico and Korea meeting for the first time. And Rubio Durazo in for Mexico, down 2-0 because of the home run shot of Sung Yup Lee of Korea just moments ago. It'll be Durazo, Geronimo Gil, and Adrian Gonzalez to bat here for Mexico against the right-hander Jay So.
Well, and you look at Team Korea and their defense. I mean, it's obvious that they have scouted this Mexican ball club because they're playing Durazo to pull the ball. But just as they did earlier, Kareem Garcia. When you talk about not knowing the other team or what to expect, obviously Korea has done their homework because they're putting shifts on each hitter.
You look at Kim out there at second base, as deep as he is, he knows that Durazo's not the fastest of runners.
The 1-1 to Durazo, right back through the box. Park, the shortstop, slings it over to get Durazo one away, and that's 4 straight retired at the start of the night for Jay So.
What he does remind you a little bit of Omar Vizquel, as they said. You know, he's not the tallest guy in the world, but take a look at the hands. I mean, EK, you talked about that infield defense. They were set up perfectly again.
Well, that's the thing. That ball's hit up right up through the middle. A lot of times that's a base hit. Perfect set defensively.
So Park with a stop, 1 man out. Here's Geronimo Gil, the catcher. The Baltimore Orioles back up, hit 192 last season with 4 home runs for the Orioles. And he also missed 3 months because of an injured left thumb.
Known more for his defense. He's somebody that historically has been a backup catcher. You know, throws the ball decently. He's had some trouble blocking the ball, but somebody that can come in and spell the starter every once in a while.
So delivers and missed the outside corner. Jay So is demoted from the Mets to AAA last spring to Norfolk. And a lot of people in New York felt, well, that's the last you're going to see of Jay So. But because of injuries, he had to return in August. He was promoted back to the majors. Ground ball behind the bag. Bum Ho Lee across the diamond, and plenty of time for out number 2. But when he came back, Sud, When he returned to the Mets in August, he went 6-1 down the stretch, and he was outstanding.
You know, they talk a lot about what comes first, success or confidence. Well, DK, I'm one to believe you've got to have some kind of success before you can get confident in anything that you do. Well, when he went down with the right attitude. He pitched well at Norfolk and AAA. He had 7 wins. He had 19 starts down there, and he brought that confidence back with him.
Here's the youngster, Adrian Gonzalez, a left-hand hitter. Trying to live up to that #1 overall draft choice Florida Marlins made him in the 2000 Major League Draft.
Oh, he's going to do it. Believe me, I've been watching him most of spring training before he left to join Team Mexico with the San Diego Padres. Had an opportunity to throw to him a lot in batting practice. You know, he's always been a pull type guy. Well, that power now has all of a sudden developed to the opposite field. He is dangerous.
So out of the windup and pitching. Smacks. Nice diving stab by Kim. He dropped it and on to first base to get the out. 1, 2, 3 they go. Kim a little bit shaken up on the hard ground, but made an outstanding play to get the 3rd out, and they go in order again. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Korea the home team here in Anaheim for this particular contest with a 2-0 lead over Mexico, and Rodrigo Lopez, who misses up high, ball 1. Bum Lee, the 3rd baseman, batting out of the 6th spot. A Gold Glover at 3rd base for the Hanwha Eagles. Hit 26 home runs last season. Tried to hold up, kind of a meager cut, went through for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Well, those 26 home runs placed him 3rd in the league. So when you talk about power hitters for Korea, he's one of them.
Gab Young Jean coming up next, and then Jean Man Park due up for Korea. And then Jong-Woo Kim, the 2nd baseman, just made that marvelous stab, knocking down that line drive and throwing out the runner at first base, but he came up a little bit lame as he jammed that shoulder into the ground.
We'll see if he comes up to hit or not. The trainers are working on him right now.
Down low, a check swing by Bum Lee. Korea on top 2-0 because of a home run by Sung Yup Lee. He's the man we highlighted as we came on the air tonight. One of the great home run hitters in Korea, has been playing in Japan and wants to play in the major leagues in the United States. Jong-Woo Kim ailing a bit after coming down hard on that shoulder after his standout play. Spraying him down through the uniform jersey. I'm not sure I've ever seen that.
Free sprayer? Yeah. What was that, EK?
Looked like a water bottle to me.
In there for called strike 3 as Lopez pinned it to the corner. And Bum Lee is retired on strikes.
Well, Rodrigo spent some time in the San Diego Padres minor league system, as did the starting pitcher of Team USA today, Jake Peavy. When Peavy fell behind 3-0 in the first 2 innings, he had to settle down. He did that. He threw 3 more shutout innings, an opportunity for their team to come back. Rodrigo has to do the same thing.
That'll send up the catcher, Gab Young Jean. 2-time Gold Glover at his position in Korea. And he has emerged as his nation's finest defensive catcher over the last few years for the Samsung Lions.
I'll tell you what, one of the quickest releases I have ever seen.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. Maybe not the arm strength of a Pudge Rodriguez, but then again, who does have that? But every bit as quick with the release and footwork.
On the corner for strike.
Well, and you can see Lopez is really locating his pitches and moving the ball in and out. And that's how he is when he's effective. Hits the outside part, then comes back in. Never the same pitch twice.
Gab Young Jean, another one who has aspirations to play in the major leagues. Hit .288 last season with 6 home runs for Samsung. 1 man out, bases empty. Korea in front 2-0, trying to join the United States in the win column on this day in Anaheim, California. As mentioned, twice a Gold Glove winner. Fastball outside from Rodrigo Lopez, and it's 1-2.
Every time I watch this and I see a guy like that have success against a guy who won 15 games at the major league level, you just think about all of the young baseball players back in Korea that are starting to think they too can play.
Softly dribbled to Castro. It's short. And on the money to Gonzalez for out number 2. So Lopez looks like a guy who's starting to establish a groove. Rick, you just have to wonder, is it going to be one of those nights the way Jay So is going, how strong the Korean pitching staff is? Is Rodrigo going to regret that first inning the rest of the night?
You know, I tell you what, to me, it wasn't that bad of a pitch. He fooled him on a 3-1 changeup. He came back with another off-speed pitch in the strike zone, but the Korean first baseman made an adjustment and hit it a long ways. I mean, sometimes you got to tip your hat to him. It wasn't that bad of a pitch, but it just didn't work out.
Gene Man Park, the shortstop, getting his first at bat tonight, fouls that one away right over the Mexican dugout.
You know, they're set up a lot like Major League Baseball teams set themselves up. They don't have the offense down at the bottom of their lineup that a lot of these teams in this tournament still have. But what they've got is terrific defense up the middle. Shortstop, second base, and the catching position.
Well, they have the top players, you know, in their country at their respective positions. You know, like Sut said, short and second, catcher, right fielder. They're not going to overwhelm you with offense. But I think if you look at what they've done in the first round, they played 2 games, a 2-0 win over Chinese Taipei and a 3-2 win over Japan. So they've played those pressure games, those close games, and I think that will benefit them in a game like tonight.
A little pop up behind first. Gonzalez calls everybody off, and in foul ground he takes it. Lopez retires Korea 1-2-3. Mexico down 2-0. But coming to bat when we go to the third. About 38,000 tickets were sold for the game. They were expecting a healthy walk-up. I think they got it from Mexico and Korea. And Korea leads 2-0 here in the top half of the third inning. I thought nobody was supposed to be interested in the World Baseball Classic. About 33,000 saw Japan and the United States in an epic battle earlier today. Television ratings, we must say, delightfully, that they've been very strong as Luis Alfonso Garcia leads off here in the 7th inning. In the 3rd inning, batting out of the 7th spot. So far, he is 3 out of 8 in the World Baseball Classic. And Jay So has yet to allow a base hit. He has faced 6 hitters, and he drills in a strike.
This is a guy here, Dave, that has really surprised me. I mean, all of the power in the world. I mean, he's a terrific outfielder, but yet one of those guys that when he gets to the States just hasn't been able to make that adjustment yet. I remember seeing him for the first time back in the 0-1 Futures game in Seattle, one of the top prospects in all of baseball. You just felt like he was going to come, but he's been with 3 or 4 different organizations and has just not put it together yet.
Now 27 years old, bounced around a bit in Major League channels with the Mets, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, and St. Louis. He spent last season playing for Monterey, the Sultans.
You know, there are a lot of the players like that. You know, they're called 4A players in between AAA, where they have a lot of success, but then when they get to the big leagues, for a number of reasons, they just don't seem to transform that success that they had in the minor league level. I mean, and there's a lot of reasons, whether it's speed, defensively, just the adjustment of playing at the big league level.
Or if you have a hole. I mean, if you can't hit an off-speed pitch, or you can't hit a fastball in, you're exactly right. At the big league level, they can continue to pound that spot.
It's like a lot of pitchers you see. They can throw 94, but that's all they can do, and it's awfully straight once everyone figures that out. High fly right center field. They put a charge into this one. Lee drifting back, turning around. That's gone. It's over the wall, and Mexico is on the scoreboard. Luis Alfonso Garcia touching them all here, and it's 2-1 Korea.
Well, and that's that power you were talking about, Sud. It's just something that he hasn't been able to do on a consistent basis, but this pitch looked like it was even a bit inside, and he just drove it the other way. He kept his hands inside. Ball was up.
EK, you played a lot of your big league games in weather just like this up the street with the Dodgers. The ball does not carry on a night like this. It's cold. There's some heavy air. I mean, you have got to hit it a lot further than you normally do on a night like this to get it out. That ball was crushed.
Well, it absolutely was, into the opposite field.
That was not a 4A swing. Mario Valenzuela hitting here, and Mexico gets on the board here to make it 2-1.
I'll tell you what, Dave, there's so much to a starting pitcher going out there and putting up a 0. Sure, you're behind. You fell behind 2-0. The number 3 guy hit a homer off of you. But Lopez went out there in the second, and they went 1-2-3. An easy 1-2-3. Nothing got out of the infield. There's a comfort zone that you feel offensively as if to say, all right, they're not getting anymore. Now let's get back in it.
Fouled away by Valenzuela. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Jay So not only surrenders his first hit of the contest, it gets out of the ballpark on a night where not many figured 2, but Sung Yup Lee has also homered for Korea. You really got to muscle it out because you're not getting any help from the elements. Absolutely no wind. Into the dirt outside on Valenzuela.
Eric, here's another one of those guys, you know, that has that same kind of power. Maybe not the power that we saw there out of Garcia, but he's got a lot of it. But, you know, just a lot of different injuries that have kept Valenzuela from playing at the big league level.
So with a 2-2, check swing foul.
Well, there are a lot of variables that go into playing at the big league level and to be successful at the big league level. Not only do you have to have talent, but you have to have a bit of luck. And the luck, I mean, is just staying healthy. I mean, you have an injury or something's not right, it's tough to compete at that level, and injuries have curtailed many a career.
So just misses down low. He hasn't walked anybody yet tonight, but he's run this count full to 3-2. He wanted this strike.
Oh, we've seen a great job from the home plate umpire, Chris Guccione. Nobody really arguing about anything. See the catcher bring it back to the corner. He too tells you that the home plate umpire was right.
The payoff pitch from the right-hander. Hit sharply to the shortstop Park. He's a vacuum out there, 1 man out. Time now for our starting lineup. Let's take a look at it. Presented by MLB 06, the show. And for Mexico, so far just the 1 hit, but it has gone over the fence. Karim Garcia, Jorge Cantu, and Vinny Castillo, 1, 2, 3.
Well, and you look at Sale has done a great job pitching against this Mexican offense. Now, these guys do swing the bat. They are aggressive, and they will get a hold of balls like Luis A. Garcia did with that opposite field home run.
Juan Castro, the Minnesota Twin, to step in. He hit .257 for the Twins last season with 5 home runs. Played quite a bit of shortstop and third base for the Twins. He made 67 starts at short. He's also played for Cincinnati. Made his major league debut with the Dodgers back in 1995. So far 1 for 13. He has scuffled a bit with the bat. Loops that one, and Kim is there to make the catch for the out. 2 down. So Kim bouncing back after a collision with the ground on a terrific stop earlier.
Okay, you were teammates with Castro back in '95. Karim Garcia telling us that he too was teammates with Jay So just a couple of years ago with the New York Mets. Talking about his best pitch being that changeup, Jay So must have known that Karim knew it because it was nothing but high fastballs that he got away with until he threw that changeup to finish him off.
Karim Garcia now 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Weaves right over that one for a strike.
Right back at it with the changeup, running it away.
He told us for the game his changeup's his best pitch, and the last 2 pitches he's seen, he's chased.
Garcia hit 21 home runs for Orix in Japan last season. He's quickly in the hole 0-2. Led the Buffaloes in home runs there.
Take a look at all of this movement. You think it doesn't look like a left-handed breaking ball? Look at it just continue to break down and a lot away from the left-handed hitter.
That's the thing. You talk about the changeup these days. Not only is it a change of pace, but it also has movement. It's like a breaking pitch.
The 0-2 well off the outside corner that time. World Baseball Classic round 2. It's Mexico against Korea. And 2 of the top pitching staffs in this tournament. And so far tonight, a total of 3 hits for the 2 teams combined. So it's kind of living up to that billing. Cut on and missed. He tossed it again and got him. He strikes out Garcia for the 2nd time. But Luis Alfonso Garcia is able to muscle one through the cool night of Southern California to get Mexico on the scoreboard. It's 2-1 Korea. We welcome you back to the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell. Rick Sutcliffe, Eric Karros, Dave O'Brien, and Duke Castiglione with him. There's your score. Korea on top 2-1. All the runs so far on home runs, surprisingly enough, on a night where everyone's bundled up. Temperatures in the 40s here in Anaheim. Jong-Gu Kim to lead things off, the second baseman here in the home half of the 3rd inning. And then Byung-Yu Lee. And we might just see Sung-Yup Lee, who cracked a line drive 2-run homer in the 1st inning to get things started in the scoring column. Jong-Gu Kim, right-hand hitter with great fielding range. He's a Gold Glove winner as well in Korea. Fouls that one away.
You know, you mentioned that, Dave. I mean, somebody would have to get on base for him to come up and hit in this inning. And as a starting pitcher, you know that. You know that if you're going to have an easy inning, you've got to get the number guy out. You let a guy hitting in the bottom of the order get on base, too many times that leads into a big inning.
Better stay away from the big stick, which is certainly Sung-Yup Lee, who has mashed 4 home runs in this classic already, more than anybody.
I mean, truthfully, guys hit 9th for a reason. You know, they don't hit a whole lot. That's the way it's always been.
And he only hit .235 last season. This young man, Jong-Gu Kim.
Well, we saw what he can do. He can pick it.
Up high by Rodrigo Lopez.
And you know, you can help your team out too, just with what he's doing now. Whether he gets on or not, he's going to see at least 5, 6, maybe 7 pitches. You work the count. You know, you try to fatigue the guy so that somebody can hurt him.
Little check swing roller up to first base, but foul.
Has Moneyball made its way to Korea?
Well, it might be. Take a look at that. Huh? Already 60 pitches. I mean, you figure this inning, maybe one more, maybe not.
Somebody got a hold of that book by Michael Lewis. I read it. Well, it's even more pronounced in this type of tournament with pitch limits. It really comes into play if you can have a 6 or 7 pitch at bat.
Well, he threw almost 40 in that first inning. I mean, the 2-run homer hurt, but there were a lot more pitches in that inning too.
Fouled back to the net. Here's a look at the pitch limits here into round 2. It was 60 in the first round. It's up to 80 for the second round. It is fascinating that here in the United States, you didn't hear a peep about pitch limits from a single United States pitcher, from a major leaguer here in the United States. But in Japan, they were upset about that because their pitchers are ready to throw a lot more than that. And they're coming out when they're just getting started. Cut on and missed by Jong-Gu Kim, and down he goes on strikes.
Well, Dave, I'll be real honest with you. You know, here on March the 12th, most major league pitchers, they're not ready to throw 80 pitches. Team USA, they had to accelerate their throwing program as Rodrigo Lopez accelerated that fastball.
He picks up his 3rd strikeout of the ball game, 1 away in the 3rd. Back up to the top of the order, and Byung-Yu Lee, who grounded out to 3rd to start the evening. Korea on top here, 2-1. The United States winning earlier today, barehanded but in foul territory by Geronimo Gil. Let's go back to that controversy now in the 8th inning, as the United States was about to fall behind 4-3 on this play. Game tied 3-3.
Well, here in this situation, Randy Wynn catches the ball. They appeal the tag up at 3rd base. He was ruled safe originally. Bob Davidson, who was supposed to make the call, he calls him out. Japan loses the run, and more importantly, loses the inning, because that's it. They still could have had an opportunity to score. It would have put Japan up 4-3 late in the ball game. The call was the wrong one.
Based on what we could tell on the replay and everything we know to be true with the replay evidence, they got the call wrong on that little reversal. Castro up and over for the out. Let's go to Duke Castiglione for more on that. And Duke, I know you've heard from Bob Davidson, the man who inevitably made that wrong call.
Well, I actually talked to Davidson after he got out of the shower, and he told me on the original appeal, he went to go make the outside, but the second base umpire beat him with a safe sign. So I said, did Buck Martinez say anything to you? He said, I would have called him out even if Buck didn't come out and argue, because I was the one that was supposed to make the call. He also said he saw 2 replays, one that said he was right and one that said he was wrong.
Jong-Byung Lee cracks that one down into the right field corner. he's going to head into second base and pull up there with a double.
You know what? I beg to differ right there. I don't think Bob Davidson is telling us what was going to happen, because if he was going to overrule that call, he's been in the big leagues a long time. He knew that that was his call. He should have known that. He didn't need Buck Martinez to come out. Go right to the young umpire at second base and say, hey, that's not your call. I don't care what call you made. I'm making the right call now. He didn't need Buck Martinez to come out. But you know what, Dave, you and I have talked many times. For many reasons, Buck Martinez was the right choice, and he proved once again right there by him coming out.
And did so emphatically, and had an angle on it in the third base dugout. You can sell it from that point of view too, Eric Karros, because if an umpire thinks you had a better look at it than he did, and you're emphatic about it, he might be inclined to change his mind if he thought otherwise.
Well, any umpire that's worth the salt will tell you he is not going to be influenced by a reaction from the dugout or from a player on the field. And I think where the ball has really been dropped here, this is a world tournament. We're trying to get the best players in the world to participate, yet we're not going to have the major league umpires who are supposed to be the best in the world involved.
I think that was Sadahara O's point in the press conference afterwards when he said, and he was very classy about it, you know, he didn't blast anyone by name. He didn't take on the umpiring crew by any individual way, but he did say it's unimaginable in the United States, where baseball is such a big deal and is so popular, that something like that would happen.
I tell you what, the umpires were trying to get the team from Japan to take the field while Sadahara O was talking with the home plate umpire. They weren't coming out.
Which is typical on protests in Japan for that sort of thing to happen. The team does not take the field until everything has been decided, and until the manager tells them it's time to go back out.
Well, even when he came over, the first time he waved for the players to go back out, nobody really moved.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they went, hey, this is Mr. O. Yeah, whatever you say, that's what we're going to do.
Right,
and you're right. He could not have handled that situation better. It was unfortunate, but, you know, as we said earlier, it's not the first missed call. It won't be the last. There were other things that determined the outcome of that game.
Yeah, there was an error. There was some questionable moves made by Japan defensively there in the latter stages of that game that hurt them. Sung-Yup Lee misses that one, but he's already cranked a 2-run homer tonight. Meanwhile, Rodrigo Lopez is already up to 70 pitches. So he's been extended on a bunch of at-bats here by the Korean team.
Yeah, and there's been activity in Team Mexico's bullpen for the last two hitters.
The pitch around the outside corner. 3-2. Elmer descends, is up and loosening in the bullpen for Mexico. 2 out, a runner in scoring position here for Korea. And looking for more on this rather cool night here in Anaheim. Joaquin Estrada, the Mexican manager, looking to get his team to hold here. One hop, that'll get to Castro, up and over, in plenty of time. The side is retired. No runs, a double, 1 man left in scoring position. Still a tight one here, 2-1 Korea. It's the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell, and about to stride up and swing away is Jorge Cantu. And if you have not seen this young man swing the bat, it is a treat, unless you're Jay So, and then you could live without that treat maybe for one more night. But it's Cantu, Castilla, and Durazo. Some big sticks for Mexico here.
Well, these are all guys that with one swing of the bat can put some runs up on the board. You know, what's interesting with Cantu, his power has developed over the last few years.
0 for 1. In fact, squaring to bunt there as he takes a strike.
I think that was just all by design to try to get the count in his favor.
You know, prior to the 04 season, he had never been in double digits in home runs. He'd always been 6, 7, 5. The 04 season, he hit over 20 in the minor leagues and then took that to the big league level.
28 last season with 117 runs batted in his first full year really in the majors. Number 7 in RBIs in the big leagues with those 117, 7th most in a franchise record. And he takes inside for ball.
You know, you think about his number and all those RBIs. That was the same total of RBIs as the National League MVP, the great Albert Pujols. And he did it for Tampa Bay. I'm telling you what, to me, it's a lot easier to do for St. Louis than it was for Tampa.
Little bloop shot, center field. Lee charging in. He has time to get there. One man out. Coverage of the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell continues tomorrow with a triple header. At 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, Cuba takes on the Dominican Republic, which tasted defeat at the hands of Puerto Rico earlier tonight. At 8 o'clock on ESPN, it's Venezuela meeting Puerto Rico. And then right here in Anaheim at 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN Deportes and select local markets, that's the United States taking on Korea. USA trying to go to 2-0 in this group here in round 2. Vinny Castilla now, and the Mexico captain knocks that one into left field for a base hit. He's 1 for 2. Just the second hit of the ball game for Mexico.
Made a pretty good adjustment there, didn't he, Eric? He's been seeing a lot of off-speed pitches and was able to get one that he liked.
Well, and so left this breaking pitch up. I mean, the book is with Vinny Castilla, don't give him a first pitch fastball because he will absolutely make you pay. So has gone after him after the first step at breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. Good idea, just bad location on that last pitch. Vinny Castilla didn't let it get by.
Dave, how about the pride that he takes in having Mexico on his chest, that being Vinny, and then that big C right above it?
Well, he's talked about that as one of the crowning moments of his career, the most important things that has ever happened to him on a baseball diamond, to wear that C at the captain. Here's Durazo. He is 0 for 1. Vinny Castilla as recently as 2004 driving in 131 runs for the Colorado Rockies.
He had a remarkable season last year in the fact that he played in over 140 games with the tendonitis he had in his knee.
Durazo with a slicing liner to left. Young-Kyu Lee is there to make the catch. And Castilla trots back into first, 2 down.
That was the thing that impressed me most 2 nights ago when I watched Team Korea play against the San Diego Padres, was not only the speed that they have in their outfield, but Eric, you saw that right there. That was a terrific jump to get to that ball and make that play look as easy as it did.
Well, it's just as we've discussed, this team is built on defense. I mean, you're talking about top defensive players at their respective positions. Offense is nice, but Team Korea knows they are not going to be able to slug with the other teams in this tournament. They are going to have to win with pitching and defense.
That brings up Geronimo Gil, the catcher. 0 for 1 tonight. He's rolled out to third base. Mexico with outstanding pitching to earn the top seed in Pool B. In Pool A, I should say. And Mexico also with outstanding pitching, as they were the top seed in Pool B. Fouled on a play by Gil.
Look, it doesn't matter what continent you're playing baseball in. The bottom line is you're going to win with good pitching and good defense. I mean, you can outslug somebody all you want, but if you can't catch the ball or can't get outs, it doesn't matter.
Mexico yielding just 3 runs in 17 innings to the other teams in the pool. The United States allowed 8 and Canada 15 in Pool B.
You talk about that great pitching. You know, another thing Chan-Ho Park talks about is a great pitching coach that Korea has.
Population 48 million. And from that, the best players available in Korea have come here to the United States for the World Baseball Classic. Gil rolls that one to Kim and on to Park for the out at second. Side retired, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Pitching carrying the night so far, 2-1 Korea in the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning, Korea on top of Mexico 2-1 here in round 2, Pool 1 in Anaheim, California. Rick Sutcliffe, Eric Karros, Dave O'Brien alongside. A festive atmosphere certainly tonight with a crowd of about 40,000 at Angel Stadium. And among the observers is Fernando Valenzuela, who is on hand, of course, as a coach for Mexico. Tossed out the first pitch earlier tonight as well, and didn't really give us that look to the stars that he made so famous 25 years ago. I'm not sure Fernando can pull that off anymore.
Well, there's a leg kick that goes with it.
Yeah, but he did just fine out there. As Isop Choi will lead things off against the new pitcher for Mexico. That is Elmer Descends.
He's a veteran guy. We've seen him. He was with the Los Angeles Dodgers last year. You take a look at those numbers, combined, starter, reliever. Just a real versatile guy that for the most part will throw strikes and make you swing the bat.
Lopez really settled down and pitched quite effectively. After the first inning, you saw him give up a couple of runs, but did not make a bad pitch, despite the fact that Sung-Yup Lee hit it out of the ballpark for a 2-run homer. There's Fernando doing some charting over there, working with the pitching staff as one of the coaches for Joaquin Estrada.
You know, Dave, seeing all those numbers and seeing that year 1981, I had the honor of being a teammate with the Dodgers with Fernando that year, and I've been blessed with a lot of amazing things at the big league level, but I never saw anything like what he was able to do that year.
Fisted little looper on the infield. Castilla scoops and fires from behind the mound for the out. Well, let's revisit Fernando Mania back in 1980, the 1981 season. Viva Fernando indeed, and there was just nothing like it. The electricity he brought every time he took to the mound at Dodger Stadium.
You know, we all know Wrigley Field. In this day and age, it's sold out every single ticket to every home game. But back then in 1981, it was not. Most of the time, it wasn't half full. But the day Fernando showed up to pitch there, it was unbelievable. There wasn't a spot for anybody, even to have standing room only.
One man out, bases empty here for Korea with a 2-1 lead over Mexico. And you know, when Hideo Nomo pitched for the Dodgers, there was a lot of electricity around every time he took to the mound, as you knew firsthand, Eric Karros, but it wasn't quite what Fernando Mania meant to Los Angeles, was it?
I don't think it was, but I think the similarity is just as Hideo Nomo paved the way for Japanese players to come to the big leagues and kids to aspire to make it to the major leagues, but Fernando Valenzuela did much the same for the Mexican community. Many of those kids said, hey, look, we can do the same. And you can see his influence by the influx of Mexican players over the past decade.
Fernando tossing out the first pitch earlier tonight.
You know, David, he talked to me before the first game in round one. He says, you know what, the reason I'm involved in this is because if the money is used properly, that is that 50% of the profits are supposed to go back to the grassroots program in each of these countries. He said if that is done properly, it will be huge for Mexico. That is why he is here as one of the coaches.
Still pitching professionally a season ago. That's the amazing thing about Fernando Valenzuela. I mean, he's still picking up a check to throw a baseball.
Just this last winter, he had 10 starts. He said he was 4-2, and I said, well, why aren't you pitching for this team? He said, with that smile that we've all seen, he says, I'm not good enough at this point.
Jin Young Lee in the box here for Korea. The 1-2 pitch is outside. Let's go back downstairs to our man Duke Castiglione. Duke.
I don't think anybody can forget Fernando kicking that leg in the air, looking to the sky. So I said, Fernando, when you were coming up, did anybody try to change you? He said, no, I was throwing strikes. Plus, I had no idea I was doing it. So I looked at myself on tape.
Ground ball to short. Castro digs it and gets him 2 down. Let's take a little freeze frame look of Fernando looking to the heavens. And then that very distinctive windup of his. Oh, man, was he something to watch.
You know, and a lot of deception. I mean, the great screwball, we heard about that. And then when he came back the second time, it was a cut fastball that was his best pitch. But if you ever saw him throw in the bullpen and throw just a straight fastball, he hardly ever missed the glove.
Well, he's going to join us. We're going to put a headset on Fernando. He's been kind enough to say he will chat with us for a couple of minutes coming up in our telecast tonight. So stay with us. 2-1 Korea leading Mexico here. Bum-Ho Lee, the third baseman, struck out his first time up and chops that one foul. Lee, a Gold Glover for the Hanwha Eagles in Korea, for whom he hit .273 with 26 home runs last season.
Well, again, it seems to be the common theme with each of these Korean players. You can talk about their offensive numbers, but everybody seemed to have won a Gold Glove.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason why these guys were chosen to represent Korea.
He pops that one up to right field. Valenzuela coming over, calling off Garcia. Side retired. 1-2-3 they go. We hope to talk with the great Fernando Valenzuela when we come back to Anaheim, California. Korea on top 2-1. Top half of the fifth inning, Korea leading Mexico 2-1, and delighted to have the great Fernando Valenzuela with us, who is on the hill throwing out the ceremonial first pitch tonight, bringing some of that Fernando Mania magic back.
Fernando, Rick Sutcliffe, thank you so much for being with us. If you could just explain what the World Baseball Classic has meant to the players and also the fans of Mexico.
Well, I think there's a great opportunity to put all the players and one team. I think you know, this classic is great, you know, and now the fans got a chance to see the whole Mexican players together, playing together.
Fernando, Eric Karras, if this would have been an opportunity for you to have when you were playing, would you have taken it? And would you, even if it was in the middle of the season?
Oh yes, I think that's a great opportunity. You know, to play for Mexico, and you know, when I was pitching, I never had a chance to, you know, to play in a Mexican team, represent Mexico. Of course, you know, it's great, you know, to be representing your country.
Fernando, I know how proud you are. It was great to see you on the mound earlier tonight. Thanks for joining us here this evening. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Fernando Valenzuela, the one and only. As Adrian Gonzalez gets in, 2-1 Korea. As we move on to the 5th inning. He is 0 for 1 with a line drive to second and fouls it away for a strike.
You know, I got to tell you, Dave, I've known him for a long time. I saw him as a rookie, and I'm still intimidated every time I'm around him because of just, I mean, he's a treasure is exactly what he is.
The most wins ever by a Mexican-born pitcher in Major League history. The great Fernando with 173. I don't know if we will ever see his like again in a Major League diamond.
So people in the United States, you're talking Cy Young.
6-time All-Star, ground ball back through the middle. Park behind the bag, throws on to get the out. We're seeing the range of this youngster at shortstop. Park can flat go and get it left and right. Obviously up the middle, he can make any play.
You know what impressed me about that, Eric, was right at the end he made a little adjustment going deeper to get a bigger, better hop, knowing the runner was not that quick. Watch this route here. Look at him go to the ball. Then look at him as he just kind of comes back a little bit towards the cut of the grass. He gets the nice big hop and turns it into another easy play.
Well, he played the hop well, and just like you said, he knew that that was not a fast runner. And I will say again and again, Korea has scouted this Mexican ball club.
Well, you would know all about what a slow runner is, huh? I mean, that was a great observation.
Yeah.
That was terrific. That was great commentating.
G-Man Park with the play up the middle. And Luis Alfonso Garcia, the batter, he's already cranked a solo home run tonight. And it's the only run that Mexico has so far here against the Korean team. And waves and misses at that one.
My confidence is completely shot for the evening. I'm going to let you two do the rest of this. I'll work on my speed.
Yeah.
You know, just as Rick is intimidated by Fernando, you can't be intimidated by the Red Baron. You have to get back in there. You know he's going to come under the chin. You know he's going to knock you down. Just get back in there. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Alfonso Garcia fans. I would have liked to have seen that duel, you two together, by the way. In your prime and in your prime, that would have been a lot of fun.
You know, I tell you what, though, you talk about prime. We're looking at a guy that just reached his prime last year, and that being Jay So. EK, this is impressive right now, what he's doing with that off-speed pitch and commanding that fastball.
Well, he is a good pitcher, and when he goes up against an aggressive ball club, he can really be good because he moves the ball around. He changes speeds, and Ned Colletti of the Dodgers did a great job by acquiring Jay So this offseason.
I'll tell you what, I think Ned Colletti has done a terrific job with that whole club. He got Fricall to come over there. He's got Billy Miller at third. He's strengthened that bullpen. They have become a legitimate contender.
Yeah, virtually overnight. And Eric, do you share those feelings about the Dodgers and this quick rebuilding, that in fact they are a contender in the West?
Yeah, I think the Dodgers will win the West if they stay healthy. And, you know, obviously health is a concern for every big league ball club.
Valenzuela strokes that one deep but foul as he pulls it into the left field stand.
And with that help, doesn't it start with Eric Gagne?
Well, it really does. But Ned Colletti again, he went out and got Denny Baez from Tampa, who had 40+ saves. So if Gagne doesn't work out, you've got Baez, but there's no reason to think that Gagne won't be back and strong. I like the Dodgers to win the National League West.
Nomar Garciaparra is of Mexican heritage. He was eligible to play for Mexico, but he decided to decline so he could concentrate on his position change in first base. Swung on and missed by Valenzuela, and he is out on strikes. Another smooth inning from Jay So as he gets them in order in the middle of the 5th. It's still 2-1 Korea. Korea and Mexico tangling here tonight in Anaheim, California. All part of the round 2 pool 1 play, as the World Baseball Classic has been split into 2 pools after the initial rounds. Now, Korea won Pool A by going 3-0. They beat Japan, China, and Chinese Taipei in the Asian bracket. And that included a 3-2 upset of Japan, Korea's biggest victory inside the Tokyo Dome.
2 of those 3 saves came from Chan-Ho Park, who had never closed in his life. But he was the obvious choice because of the experience that he has had at the major league level. He has been terrific. Korea has been perfect.
Well, and speaking to some of the Korean contingent today, they talk about Chan-Ho Park being the leader of this Korean ball club. And when he made the commitment to play in this World Baseball Classic, other players in the Korean baseball organization said we're also going to play because Chan-Ho is involved.
Korea running the table, perfect 3-0. Japan tasting a loss they did not expect to lose in that game. And in fact, Ichiro Suzuki pretty much guaranteed they were going to win. Did not go that way. A little chopper to Cantu. And Gab Young-jin is retired. 1 man out in the 5th inning for Korea.
You know, we talk about the players that are in it. There were a couple of guys that early when they were asked opted out. I guarantee you to a man right now they are regretting that decision, because this is so much more than a date between the World Baseball Classic and baseball fans all over the world. I mean, this is going to be a marriage for a long, long time.
Shortstop Gene-Man Park, who is 0 for 1. He has popped out to third, takes a strike. Korea on top 2-1. Got both of those runs in the 1st inning on a home run by Sung-Yup Lee. The big slugger who wants to play in the United States in the big leagues here one day and one day soon. He's played in Korea and in Japan. High fly left center field. That's into the alley on the move. Garcia, and lunges and makes a fine play. An outstanding catch by Luis Alfonso Garcia. Had to run all night to get there onto the warning track, but he snagged it.
Well, he's having a great night, both offensively and defensively. And this Korean ball club, not known for their power, the Mexican outfielders are playing relatively shallow. Garcia gets a great jump and doesn't let the wall deter him. He just keeps running. He knows he's getting closer to that fence, but he doesn't cut down on his speed. Puts the glove out, makes a great grab.
Of course, he's already homered tonight as well for Mexico's only run.
You know, there are some major league teams that are taking note right now. He just took an extra base hit away. He put them on the board, but hitting a ball to a part of the park most people can't get it out in.
But Gene-Man Park denied an extra base hit, much to his dismay. Jong-Gu Kim 0 for 1 tonight. He has struck out.
You know, Dave, this is what I love right now. After watching this catch right now, I mean, this crowd for Mexico is fired up. I mean, there is a lot of passion here for both sides tonight in this game.
2 down, bases empty. And descends, kicks and fires. Ran it in on the thumbs, and it's fouled away. 2 runs on 3 hits so far for Korea. 1 run on 2 hits for Mexico. Neither side has committed an error. I've been thoroughly impressed by the defense that has been played both in Arizona, as Sutton and I watched the 1st round, and in this one as well. And on cue, Cantu, but he cannot make the play. Outstanding job to get to it in right field, and it would have been a spectacular play had he been able to connect with the throw. Instead, it's a base hit for Jong-Gu Kim.
You know, and another fantastic play right at the end of this thing. Cantu does everything he can. You come up with it. You're not going to have a good grip on the baseball. You're kind of out of sorts right there. You got to hurry. You just throw it in the direction. But once it gets away from Gonzalez, look at Gill. If he does not back that play up, you would have had a runner in scoring position and an opportunity to add to the lead with just a base hit. Gill hustling, as was Cantu. Again, more great defense.
He kept that from rolling right into the Mexican dugout. So a runner at first base. 2 down for Byung-Yu Lee, who is 0 for 2. Twice he's grounded out to the left side.
I think you get a break like that, you've got a lead, Eric. You're playing with house money. Why not try to run him here? You don't have a whole lot of power at home plate right now. Put him in the scoring position. Pick a pitch, maybe, you know, 1-0, 0-1 early in the count. Get him down there.
On the outside corner for a strike. Shik Kim, the manager for Korea. Meanwhile, has activity in his bullpen. Dai Sung Koo starting to loosen up. Kim at first base. 2 men out, 2-1 Korea. He's holding, and that's off the outside corner.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Seth. You've got to send the runner in this situation, because the worst thing that happens, he's thrown out, and you've got your leadoff hitter as your leadoff hitter next inning. Somebody get on base, set the table for summing up lead.
Both of them with a long look at the signs from the third base coach.
Kim has lengthened out that lead just a little bit. Not running, though, and again it's outside by DeSantis.
And that very well could have been the sign, Eric. You know better than I. You're on base a lot more, but that could have been if you get a jump go. It looked like he thought about going right there, but he didn't really time the pitcher's move. DeSantis right now has got to be aware of that, and whatever his best pickoff move is, if I'm him, I come with that right now.
Jung-Gu Kim, the runner at first base, is considered one of the best base runners, if not base stealers, in Korea. 11 stolen bases last season. Not running again, and it's fouled away.
Well, see, maybe you don't run in that situation because it's a 2-1 count, a hitter's count. But now it's 2-2. The hitter has 2 strikes on him. If you're not running here, you're not going to run the rest of the game.
Shik Kim, himself a former pitcher in the Korean amateur leagues. Holding again, and there's a ground ball to deep short. Down for it, Castro. Long throw and got him. Juan Castro, nicely done. A cross-body throw to nail the runner at first base. It's still 2-1 Korea.
ESPN2's telecast of the World Baseball Classic, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by MLB06 The Show, now available on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable.
Pretty much a packed house here in Anaheim, California. Korea leading Mexico 2-1 in the World Baseball Classic. And the shortstop for Mexico just made that elegant play. Juan Castro 0 for 1 tonight. He will lead things off. In need of a hit or two. He is 1 for 14, but playing superb defense. The number 9 hitter facing Jay So. That one stroked off the hill. Park snags it and gets him. 1 man out as we give you a look at tonight's Taco Bell pitching summary. Jay So still out there getting it done for Korea.
He's just been tremendous. You see no base on balls. He's got the strikeouts when he's needed. He's been down in the zone. He's taken advantage of that great infield defense. The shortstop with another good play.
So with 1 man out, Korea has decided to make a pitching change here. And we'll be back in just a moment in Anaheim, California. It's Mexico and Korea, and a hard-fought battle so far. Korea on top 2-1. Mexico so far held to 2 hits. But maybe just got a break in the fact that Jay So, who've been cruising into the 6th inning, really nowhere near that pitch count, is lifted here by the Korean manager. And Dai Sung Koo, the New York Mets, comes on to pitch.
I'll tell you what, I saw Koo pitch the other night, and this guy is very difficult on left-handed hitters. I think maybe Korea was a little surprised that Karim Garcia was pinch hit for here. They're going to go with the right-handed hitter to try to get somebody on base for Cantu.
So Luis Garcia batting in front of the slugger Jorge Cantu. The base is empty. 1 man out in the 6th inning. Koo, the left-hander, made 33 relief appearances for the Mets in 2005, his first season in the major leagues. Made his major league debut in April. He's on the disabled list a couple of times with a bruised left shoulder the first time. And that was after scurrying home in a game, I believe it was against the Yankees. Very awkward slide, actually scored on a dazzling piece of base running. But he hit home plate real hard and wound up on the disabled list as a result of that play.
Well, and he's not somebody that's a young player. He spent many years in the Korean baseball organization.
Cut on and missed by Garcia.
Then he spent some time over in Japan and then trying to make his way over to the United States. a veteran presence, won the most valuable player award in the Korean baseball organization. He knows what he's doing. He's got good stuff, and he tries to be deceptive.
Vinny Castilla indicating the movement on the pitch by the left-hander, Dae-Sung Koo. That one down into the dirt for a ball. Cantu up next. De La Rosa, the left-hander, starting to loosen here for Mexico in the bullpen.
Yeah, there's no deception about him. He just flat out brings it. But you're so right about Koo. I mean, he's kind of deceptive, Eric, with that delivery. And that 85 to 87 miles an hour gets up on you a lot quicker than most of them will because of his delivery.
The 2-2 smacked up the right field line foul.
Well, he stands on the far side of the rubber, and to a right-handed hitter, it looks like he's way away from you. He's throwing a lot of pitches on the outside part of the plate. The ball is running away from you. And then when he does try to come inside, he can throw an 85, 86 mile an hour fastball, and it will seem a lot faster because you've been focusing on a pitch away from you.
Look at him standing on top of the man.
Routine ground ball to Park at shortstop. So sure-handed. 2 down. He's made a bunch of plays tonight. He's made them all look pretty easy.
You know, we see a lot of different people have success doing a lot of different things. And, you know, you got Koo. Most guys will stand in front of the rubber and use it to push off of. But look at him here. He gets a little bit of a toe hold with the cleats at the front of his spikes. The heel spikes are on top of the mound. Very rare do you see anybody do that. But you know what? Who can argue with the success that he has had?
Well, 150 saves, 4th all-time in Korean history. They get all sorts of bullpen activity, and that is Byung-Hyun Kim. One of the right-handers tossing in the pen. Cantu, meanwhile, 0 for 2 at the plate, but always a threat to go yard. He is flying to left and to center tonight.
It doesn't hurt anything to have Vinny Castilla, as they call protection, sitting behind him there. You want to pitch around him. Vinny Castilla with one swing of the bat could give Mexico the lead.
Up and away for a ball. Dae-Sung Koo, way back in 1996, was the Korean League's most valuable player when he won 18 games as a starter. It was in another life for him with a 188 earned run average. Then converted to one of the greatest closers. So he's had a Dennis Eckersley kind of a career in Korea.
Good call there.
Big cut and a miss by Cantu.
He can't throw a fastball by this guy. I mean, what he has to do is throw a changeup, and he also has to locate that, which he was able to do on that 2-0 pitch.
Well, if you notice, we haven't seen anything over the heart of the plate. It's been on each side of the plate.
Ground ball toward the hole and a base hit. Cantu pulls a single. He is 1 for 3, and so for more on Jorge Cantu, we go downstairs to Duke Castiglione.
Well, OBS said at Cantu before the game, he said you had a great season last year. You're having a great World Baseball Classic. Are you excited about becoming more of a household name? He said it's an honor, but really, I'm excited that so many of my teammates and even my manager in Tampa Bay have called and supported me. He said, we got a great young team in Tampa Bay. Watch out.
A lot of talent there. Guys like Carl Crawford and B.J. Upton. Guys who can run. A little bit of power as well. Tampa Bay might be a surprise in 2006. Here's Vinny Castilla as he steps in and takes a strike.
You know, I too love what they've done with their manager. Joe Madden had a lot of success as the bench coach right here for Mike Scioscia and what was the Anaheim Angels, now the Angels of Los Angeles. Joe Madden he's a teacher.
Well, they've got some different ownership down in Tampa Bay as well, and I think that's going to breathe a lot of new life into that organization. Give it a lot of hope. They've got a great offensive ball club. They've got a young ball club.
I'd love to see them get out of that dome.
Yeah, but the last time I checked, that's still the Yankees and Red Sox division, right?
And Toronto got a lot stronger as well in the American League East.
They got right into the middle of that thing. Roy Halladay, I mean, that's as good as you get. And then you add Burnett. You add Benji Molina to catch those great arms. B.J. Ryan, the closer. Troy Glass. There's a lot of
Overbay at first base.
Lyle Overbay. Castillo with a single in the 4th inning. Runner at first base here. And 2 out for Mexico. And Rubio Durazo, the on-deck hitter. as Mexico tries to tie it in the 6th. Some of the color and pageantry you see here at the World Baseball Classic. Big crowd of 40,000 or so. Might have topped that tonight. Vinny with 12 home runs last season for the Washington Nationals. Bloops that one toward right. Kim races out, makes the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, a hit. One man left. Korea's pitching continues to be oh so tough in the World Baseball Classic. Bottom of the 6th inning coming away. Korea still up 2-1. He got both of those runs in the 1st inning and have not scored since then. Mexico with a solo home run in the 3rd inning. Luis C. Garcia will remain in the game and play center field. And Jorge De La Rosa from the Milwaukee Brewers will pitch for Mexico here. A solid first season in the majors for him.
Well, he just flat out can bring it. I mean, what he needs to do is get a little better control. He has just as many strikeouts as he does walks, as he does innings pitched, which says he's got a great arm, but he hasn't harnessed that control.
Lee to step in, and he has a good night going with a single and a double, and he scored a run when Sung-Yup Lee drove him in with a 2-run homer in the 1st inning. He lays off, and it's in there for strike 1. Sung-Yup Lee is up next.
It's a pretty obvious move that with him there and then Hee-Seop Choi and Lee after that, all three swinging from the left side. Well, you want a left-handed pitcher on the mound to make it more difficult.
Fouled out of play for strike.
That's flat out bringing it.
91 on the gun.
And he's got about 6 or 7 more miles per hour than that. Big curve ball, a little inconsistent with it, but EK, like you said, I mean, the future's bright.
Well, it really is. And when it'll come with experience, it'll come with time. But when he does harness that arm, look out.
On the late cut by Lee, Rodrigo Lopez started tonight, worked the first 3 innings for Mexico and gave up those 2 runs on 3 hits. But again settled in the last couple of innings he was on the hill, only allowed 1 hit and had good stuff for the 2nd straight outing. Here's the 0-2. Makes him jump the rope, and Lee just did get out of the way as it rolled all the way to the backstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, really, this game has been an extremely well-pitched game. You see De La Rosa's ball getting away from him, bouncing, trying to go inside again. But you take away 2 pitches tonight, and we're looking at a 0-0 ball game. You can't ask for a better performance from your starting pitcher.
Mexico held to 3 hits to this point. Both sides certainly pitched their way into this round, no question about that. He must have repeated the last pitch down around the shoe tops of Byung Lee.
You know, I don't get that. I mean, even on the 0-2 pitch that he was late on getting into that count, now by throwing something off speed, you give him an opportunity to catch up with it. And if you're De La Rosa, and you talked about it, the inconsistency with him throwing strikes, now not only do you not have at least 1 on your curveball, you may too lose it with your fastball.
De La Rosa with a 2-2. Down low and now full counts.
Well, it's just like you said, you have the guy down 0-2. You're blowing fastballs by him. He's fouling him off to the right side. And then you're going to mess around and try and trick him. And now you've got yourself in a hole 3-2. And basically, you've got to throw a fastball. The hitter knows you've got to throw a fastball.
De La Rosa just 2 innings of work in the 1st round. High fly right field, but very catchable. Valenzuela. 1 out. We go back to the 1st inning. And a man in Korea they call the Lion King, Sung-Yup Lee, cranking this one to right field.
Well, Lopez throws a breaking ball, just leaves it over the inner part of the plate. And you can see Sung-Yup Lee's rotation, the way he turns on that ball. Anything off speed, the inner half part of the plate, you're going to pay for it.
He has hit as many as 56 home runs in a season in Japan. That's more than Sadaharu Oh ever hit in a single season. 1 out, bases empty. He swings and fouls that one back for a strike.
You know what I like about him, Dave? I mean, there's guys that hit homers. You know, they can add to the lead when you're up or hit a meaningless homer when you're behind. I mean, that 2-run homer he hit against Japan in that 3-2 win, that was in the 8th inning. They didn't get any bigger than that. And all of a sudden you come out now, you've got the nerves of playing in the next round. The competition gets tougher, and he gives them an immediate lead.
Flies that one down the left field line and foul. He's hit 4 home runs in the World Baseball Classic.
When you think of it, those are 2 consecutive at-bats. That home run in the 8th inning against Japan, you know, a 2-run home run that puts them ahead. And then tonight, that first at-bat, his last at-bat was that 2-run homer. Tonight, 2-run homer, big home runs. You know, we talked to him yesterday. He said, look, about coming to the States, I'm not going to try and think about it, because if I do, I may not be able to perform like I want to.
I think he's been successful in putting it out of his mind, because he's performing like crazy here and really enjoying hitting in the United States and in big league ballparks, as he's showing here tonight. High fastball missing at 93 miles an hour from De La Rosa, and the count 2-2.
Dave, along with that, another thing we've seen over the last couple of series is the fact that you say, well, he hit it in Korea. Okay, well, you know what? You can't say that anymore, because this pitching is really, really good. You look at the pitching in Japan, Mexico, I mean, they are quickly catching up.
Just outside, and the count runs full now, 3-2 with Hee-Seop Choi on deck.
Well, just his approach in this at-bat against the hard-throwing De La Rosa. Great approach. He's not pulling out. It's lefty versus lefty. He will get an opportunity to play in the big leagues.
Hee-Seop Choi is already there, of course. The man following him as the cleanup hitter, the DH tonight. The pitch fouled away. He doesn't get cheated on his cuts, does he?
No, he really doesn't. And that's what's fascinating about this at-bat. It's lefty on lefty. Sometimes you'll see some feeble swings. The left-handed hitter will be deceived by the pitch or bail a little bit. Every cut he's had so far been right on the money.
High chop, backing up for it, Cantu, but time to throw on and get him. 2 down. And now we'll see Hee-Seop Choi with the bases empty in the 6th inning. Activity in the Korean bullpen as they get Byung-Gu Jun throwing. Left-hander.
You got to get a left-hander going, because you got left-handed bats coming up. 2 of the first 3 for Team Mexico in the top of the 7th, swing from the left side.
Hee-Seop Choi has yet to homer in the Classic, but he was the first native of Korea to hit 3 home runs in a single major league game. That was back on June 12th of 2005, this past season, against the Minnesota Twins. Also played for the Marlins and the Cubs. Now the Dodgers as he takes a strike.
And we talked about Choi earlier. He needs an opportunity just to go play every day. He needs to play for a team that's not in the middle of a pennant race or going to be competing for a division title. Let him go out, let him play, and see what he can do at the big league level.
He's flying to right, grounded out to third this evening, 0-for-2.
We talked about Hee-Seop Choi. In the first game, he was signed by Derek Lee's father. Leon Lee was a scout for the Chicago Cubs. He had Korea, he had Japan. He saw the talent of this kid, got him signed, and got him to the big leagues.
So far, 40 career major league home runs, 915 at-bats. Nobody on base for him. 2-1 Korea. Good breaking ball, throws him in the box, and he is out on strikes. A strong frame from De La Rosa as he gets them in order and ends it with a big bender. Here's your score as Korea leads Mexico 2-1. We take it to the 7th inning. And Rubio Durazo to lead things off here for Mexico. The World Baseball Classic, for the first time ever, the game's greatest players playing for pride and the championship. Follow the action on WorldBaseballClassic.com. Rick Sutcliffe, Eric Karros, Dave O'Brien, and Duke Castiglione with you from Anaheim, California. Durazo certainly with the home run ability to tie this with one cut. As we kept at bay tonight, he is 0 for 2. So starting to get into the late innings here at the Big A. Only 7 hits total in the game, and Correa has 4 of those. Fly shot on one hop. Kim from the knees up and throwing and gets him. With a middle infield for Correa, it's hard to get it through there.
Well, it really is. Not only do they have great hands, but it seems like they're positioned in the right place every single time Mexico hits the ball. We can't say it enough. The defense has just been unbelievable so far this year.
You know, Dave, you talked about the big crowd. I always take a look at the upper deck in the far back corner. And if there's somebody sitting up there, look at that. Look there in the very top. I mean, there's even a guy sitting out there in the aisle. You got yourself a good crowd.
Big walk up as well. Although 38,000 seats were sold in advance. Geronimo Gil follows that one back into the mid for strike.
Well, you got to command that outside corner in a game like this. You got a 1-run lead. Take a look at that. I mean, that's as far away from the action as you could get. It's cold, but you know what? They wanted to be here.
Gil 0 for 2. That's in for a strike by Dai-Sun Kim.
Like that command, DK. I mean, you've been that hitter. You've been like Gil. You want to hit a homer. You want to tie it up.
Well, there's a reason Ku's been around for as long as he's been around. He knows how to pitch. Doesn't have great stuff, at least at this stage of his career, but he's got great command and he knows what he's doing.
Again tried the corner, but Ku missed that time. Right-handed Cortez up and throwing now for Joaquin Estrada and Team Mexico.
It looked like he's getting ready to come in right away, though. I would imagine De La Rosa will face the first 2 left-handers. If Correa goes to a pinch hitter, he will be ready, but then he'll come in for the bottom part of the order with those right-handed hitters.
Ku taking off a lot on that pitch, and it's 73 miles an hour.
Well, Steve, what's interesting about Ku, these last 2 pitches he's missed, but he hasn't missed in a spot where he can get hurt. The previous pitch was on the outside part of the plate. He missed away off the plate. This pitch, a breaking ball, he doesn't leave it up. He doesn't miss high. It's in the dirt. So even though he doesn't hit his spot, he's not in a spot where the hitter can hurt him.
Gil without a whole lot of power, just 4 home runs last season, backing up the catching spot in Baltimore, and fouls that one off. The face mask, it appeared, of Gab Young-Jean, the catcher. And Gil, of course, the catcher himself, does the classy thing and steps out to allow him to come to his senses.
Catcher's etiquette right there. Help the other guy out.
270 career Major League games caught by Gil, the second most ever by a Mexican-born catcher. Ku got him lunging there, a trickler, and a roll foul, and they'll keep it that way. So Gil has to come all the way back and swing again here with a count of 2-2.
Pretty good battle right here. The last 2 pitches have just been outstanding. Fastball on the outside corner at the knees, that good breaking ball down out of the zone, and yet Gil able to get a piece of him and hope that maybe Ku might make a mistake here. Ku's a guy that normally comes in, face 1 or 2 left-handed. I mean, that's all he's going to do, but he's been extended a little bit here tonight, and he still continues to make good pitches. Look at that. I mean, that is down at the knees. It looked to be a strike for a long time. The catcher, Jin, keeps wanting to call that fastball up and in, but Ku has, up to this point, continued to shake him off.
Gil ready again, nobody on base here, and 1 man out, 2-1 Correa leading Mexico. High pop up behind third base. Bumhole Lee in the foul territory. And there are 2 down.
Well, that's just a clinic on pitching right there. Throwing the breaking ball away, getting Gil leaning over the plate, and then coming in with a hard fastball. And a hard fastball is 84, 85 miles an hour. And because Gil's looking out over the plate, he gets jammed.
Well, you're exactly right. He caught him staying back on that last breaking ball, and to hit that fastball in, Eric, you know better than I. You got to start that swing a little bit sooner He didn't get it started. He hit his spot. He gets another out.
And sends up Adrian Gonzalez, who is 0 for 2. And really, Mexico hasn't threatened much at all tonight in any given inning. They have yet to put more than one hit on the board in any frame so far tonight, and here we are in the 7th. The only run they have, the home run by Luis Alfonso Garcia way back in the 3rd.
You just got to give credit to the pitching for Korea. Mexico came in here swinging the bat as well as any team in the World Baseball Classic.
That one ripped into right field for a solid base hit. Maybe that will bring Mexico to life offensively as Gonzalez is on with 2 out.
Well, Gonzalez does have a sweet swing, and when he gets an opportunity to play every day, as eventually he will in San Diego, he's going to be a very special player.
What a job by Koo. What a job.
He's coming out now. Ian Shik Kim, the manager, ready to make a pitching change. And that does it for Koo. We'll take a break and be back with more in Anaheim of the World Baseball Classic.
I've not seen it.
Luis Alfonso Garcia has been the offense so far tonight for Mexico with a solo home run in the 3rd inning. You've heard our call. It was rather dull and pedestrian.
I thought it was great.
Run of the mill. But wait a minute. Wait till you hear Luis Alvarez of ESPN Deportes on the same home run back in the 3rd inning. Listen in.
2-2. El batazo hacia el jardín central en plena carrera. Va el jardinero. La bola se va, se va. Y esa bola no la devuelve nadie. México anota su primera rayita con el
Juan Marichal, the great Dominican dandy, and Luis Alvarez providing the play-by-play, and expertly done. A wonderful call.
Well, we talked about Fernando and his leg kick. It wasn't half as high as Mr. Marichal's was.
You got that right. The Hall of Famer, the gentleman on the left there. What a treat to watch. Garcia to take on a new pitcher here in Tai Hyun Chong, the submarine-style right-hander.
Not a whole lot of fun. He's going to remind you a lot of BK Kim and where he throws from. But watching him the other night, he had the velocity that BK Kim had when he first got to the big leagues. He's got the sweeping, breaking ball. And he's not a lot of fun for a right-handed hitter.
No, he's not a lot of fun, and he's around the plate. 24 innings last year, only 6 walks. Going to run that fastball in on your hands and the sweeping breaking ball, so he works both sides of the plate.
Amazega to run for Gonzalez. Mexico desperate to score again here, down 1. So Garcia with a home run and a strikeout, 1 for 2 tonight. 2 down, 7th inning. And Chong from the set. Runner goes immediately. The pitch is strike. The throw will not get him. Amazega immediately stealing second set.
Give Joaquin Estrada, the manager for Team Mexico, a lot of credit there. I mean, even though he's behind, he is being aggressive. He knew the reliever that was coming in. He knew he was slow to home plate. He pinch run with some speed and absolutely no chance for the catcher to throw him out.
Well, and here we go again, that situation. You've got a power hitter at the plate. The pitcher doesn't want to throw him a fastball. He throws him an off-speed pitch, which furthers Almanzega's opportunity to steal second base.
So now a base hit by Garcia will tie this ball game up in the 7th inning for Mexico. In there for called strike. 0-2 on Garcia.
I just love it when a manager is not afraid to make a mistake. If they pitch out there and he gets thrown out, everybody's going to ask Joaquin, what were you thinking? You were down by a run. You got the go-ahead run at home plate. He's a guy that's already hit a home run. You know what? The odds are he's not going to hit another home run. The odds are much better that he might get a base hit, and that would tie the ball game. You can't be afraid to lose as a manager, and Estrada clearly showing he's not.
Coverage of the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell continues on Tuesday. Doubleheader from Anaheim, Japan, taking on Mexico live at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It'll also re-air on ESPN2 at 1:30. 7 o'clock, it's Venezuela taking on the Dominican Republic from San Juan. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Namazega leading at second, and the pitch misses a little bit low. Korea with a 2-1 lead. They scored the first 2 runs of the contest on a home run in the first inning. Garcia got one of those back with his solo drive in the third. That has been the extent of the scoring. These two teams have combined for just 8 hits. The pitching has been that good. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. A nasty pitch that tied him up in on the hands. So Tai Hyun Chung comes in and closes the deal. It's the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Korea leading Mexico 2-1 in round 2, pool 1. Getting ready for the bottom half of the 7th inning, and you can watch your team's out-of-market games live from anywhere. Live Major League Baseball right from your desktop. Get the most baseball available anywhere, live online. Go to ESPN.com and search MLB TV. Sign up today. Benji Gill taking over as the new first baseman for Mexico here. And Korea still leading by 1. And what has certainly been a pitcher's duel deep into the night here in Anaheim. Jin Young Lee will lead things off here for Korea. He'll be followed by Bum Ho Lee, the third baseman. The right fielder getting in, and the first pitch from the left-hander is swatted out and popped up, foul ground. Eddie Castilla over near that camera well, but it's out of his reach. De La Rosa from the stretch and delivers a strike to jump in front, 0-2.
He retired all 3 guys that he faced in the 6th inning. The 2 left-handers easily retired. Probably on right now just for this hitter and the next hitter. You've got a right-hander ready to go in Team Mexico's bullpen as they get to the bottom of the lineup.
Mexico with a staff filled with proven Major League talent like Esteban Loaiza and Luis Ayala, Antonio Osuna, Oliver Perez, the Pirates left-hander, Ismael Valdez as well. That's down low for a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count on Lee.
Yeah, Dennis Reyes, Ricardo Rincon. There's a lot of big league experience and a lot of names that people in Major League Baseball know well.
De La Rosa fires, and it's spoiled on a little flick swing by Jin Young Lee. So it's a tough bullpen for Mexico. Pitching has certainly not been an issue for the team that came out of the first pool, which included the United States Pool B, as the #1 seed. So far, that bullpen's been excellent. The 2-2 hit up the middle, and that'll be a clean base hit by Jin Young Lee. He's on with a single. And that is the first time all night that Korea has started an inning with the leadoff man on. They're going to make a pitching change. Mexico will right here.
We're going to wait and see what offensive change Team Korea makes. And then Joaquin Estrada, he'll talk it over with his 3 pitching coaches. He too has made up his mind.
Estrada just now making the move officially as he signals to his bullpen. So we have a pitching change in Anaheim, and we'll be back in just a moment. Coverage of the World Baseball Classic presented by Taco Bell continues tomorrow with a triple header At 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, Cuba takes on the Dominican Republic. At 8 o'clock on ESPN, it's Venezuela meeting Puerto Rico. And then right here in Anaheim at 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN Deportes and select local markets, the United States takes on this Korean team. Remember, all 39 games of the World Baseball Classic are available in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. The right-hander David Cortez from the Colorado Rockies organization spent most of the season with the Rockies last year and worked a lot. Coming on to face Korea, Eugene Young Lee, the runner who just singled, getting back into first base. Sung Hoon Jong will pinch hit now for Korea. He played third base for the Hyundai Unicorns last season in Korea. He hit .266. He was a late addition to the roster because of an injury, and again back in is Young Lee.
You got to have a guy up here at home plate right now that can handle the bat, can not only get the bunt down, push it towards the first baseman, but if an opportunity rises where he gets ahead in the count, you can hit and run with as well.
But he can see it charging from third, laid down toward first. The pitcher Cortez will try for second, got the out, back to first for the double play. Mexico turns 2 on the bunt. Well, you can't make that play any better than that.
You know, and Eric Karros, you know that Geronimo Gil, the catcher, had a lot to do with this. As a pitcher and infielder, as you're charging, you don't know what's going on with that base runner. He had to be hollering second base all of the way. There it is. It's not a great bunt. It wasn't to the first baseman. He's yelling. The pitcher knew what to do. He came up with a rocket to second base. Another one back to first. A big double play for Team Mexico.
And what could be a huge lift for Mexico, trailing by 1. But the inning about to die here for Korea. It's in for a strike on Gab Jung Lee.
And although Korea is ahead in this game 2-1, it's Mexico that is being aggressive, whether it's stealing a base or in this situation not taking the sure out at first, but going and being aggressive to get the runner at second. They get a double play.
2 down, base is empty. And there for a strike. Cortez with a terrific gamble there that paid off in a big way.
Boy, and a terrific finish, Dave. Fixing to come up here. You got the bottom of the order with 8 and 9 leading off in the 8th. But you know what? Cantu, Castilla, the big boys are yet to swing the bat to decide the outcome of this game for Mexico.
Cortez looking for a strikeout here, and he gets it by blowing away Jean. And what a performance by David Cortez to get out of the inning unscathed. Still 2-1 Korea. Back for the top half of the 8th inning, and Korea up 2-1 over Mexico. Only 9 hits in the entire contest. Jong will stay into the ball game and now play third base. And Jae-Go Kim will take over at second base now for Korea. So a couple of defensive changes. Mario Valenzuela will lead things off, the right fielder here for Mexico. And in fact, now Mexico will make a pinch hit change as well. And Miguel Ojeda will hit in the 8th spot. So both managers really going to work here in the 8th inning. Tae-Hyun Chong, the submariner, will stay on to pitch. And he delivers outside for ball.
Ojeda was one of the guys for Team Mexico that hit one of those 4 consecutive doubles with that big 4-run first inning against Team Canada that put them where they're at now. So he too was swinging a hot bat when this series started.
Juan Castro on deck for Mexico, and then the top of the order, and Luis Garcia.
Well, and this is a real difficult situation for Ojeda. He's been sitting on the bench the entire game. It's a cold night, and then you have to come in and face an unconventional pitcher with that sidearm delivery, balls running on your hands. And somebody that can come off the bench and be successful in this situation, very difficult job.
The 2-0 pitches in there for a strike. And the best pinch hitters that you played with or played against, for that matter, throughout your career, Eric, what was the common thread that allowed them to have long careers in that role?
Well, I think they accepted their role as a pinch hitter, and then they found a routine that worked for them. There isn't a universal routine that every pinch hitter has. I played with Dave Hansen for many years in Los Angeles, and this guy was one of the best pinch hitters I've ever seen.
The 2-1 pitch to Miguel Ojeda, waved at and missed. 2-2.
You know, the best I ever saw was in my first few years in the big leagues was Manny Mota. You know, at one time, the all-time hit leader as far as pinch hits are concerned. And, you know, he too, like Hansen, he had the ability to put the bat on the ball. You know, in a situation, you know, you're not going to hit many home runs. I mean, it's so difficult to do that anyway when you get 4 or 5 at bats. But to come up here with one of the toughest relievers the opposite team will have and be able to do something with it.
The understanding, too, you're probably going to see a fastball, and you're probably going to see it right away. And be ready to hit when you get up there. Guys like Lenny Harris in recent years have made an art form out of that.
It really is. You've been sitting the entire game, and then you're asked to hit off of the dominant closer. I mean, it's a difficult spot.
The 2-2 from Chong. Now a full count. Mexico looking for that all-important leadoff man. Down by 1 here in the late stages. Joaquin Estrada has shown a willingness to cut his runners loose in tight situations late. And so Ojeda no threat to run, but we'll see what he does with his bench. He does have Juan Castro on deck. They've not had a run scored in this game since the 3rd inning, when Luis Alfonso Garcia homered for Mexico. Fouled back. He got a piece of it. Pretty healthy rip there by Ojeda. They'd like to have that one back.
Well, it's a good swing. It's a hanging breaking ball that was left up out over the plate, and he's just not able to get it. Fouls it straight back.
I know you as a hitter, you like to pick the baseball up as it comes out of a pitcher's hand. But with a guy like this, where it's almost it's so much more difficult than the conventional guy, is it not?
Well, it is. It is different, but you see him a couple different pitches. That's why you'll see hitters, when they face somebody that is quote-unquote unconventional, they may take a pitch or two just to be more comfortable in the box.
Time asked for and granted by Guccione, the home plate umpire.
How about the job he's done behind home plate tonight?
Outstanding.
Not seen anybody really question any call that he has made.
No, he has been great. He's somebody that has been shuffled back and forth. He's been in the big leagues, a younger guy. But that's the thing. You want to not be noticed, and he has not been noticed tonight.
The 3-2. That's in there for strike 3. Ojeda does bark at the home plate umpire Guccione. The only man who's had any kind of a beef tonight.
He's got no beef. If he goes back and looks at the replay, this ball pretty much was right down the middle. He got fooled, maybe looking breaking ball, but there's the glove. Take a look at the pitch, outer half of the plate, thigh high. I mean, that's a pretty good pitch to take a swing at.
He's caught looking and still angry about it. That'll send up Juan Castro, who's gone 0 for 2 tonight. Emotions running high when you're talking about national pride on the line here. Korea up by 1 in the 8th inning. A strike to Castro. And now Guccione is barking back at Ojeda, telling him to sit down and be quiet. So just at the point where we were lauding the performance of Guccione, not that he missed the call there necessarily, and that he had stayed out of the way, he kind of steps into the fire here, however briefly.
He got noticed, huh?
He got noticed.
I spoke too soon.
No, I don't think he did. I think he's still doing a terrific job. It's just a frustrated offensive team for Mexico right now.
Held to 4 hits against this fine pitching staff of Korea. Castro just 5 home runs last season with the Minnesota Twins, and it's down and away for a ball. In round 1, they were just as good as they've been so far tonight. 27 innings, just 14 hits. Look at all the strikeouts and a minuscule ERA. In going 3-0 in the Asian bracket with Japan and China and Chinese Taipei. Upsetting Japan 3-2 along the way. Fouled Castro.
You know, they're just 5 outs away from keeping that ERA overall at an even 1.00. That's just tremendous.
Well, they got 5 1/3 outstanding innings out of Jay So, the New York Met, who's been traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Went 8-2 for the Mets last season. Kind of picked up where he left off here in the World Baseball Classic. 2 balls, 2 strikes, bases empty, 1 out. And Tae-Hyun Chong gets himself another strikeout. Castro down swinging, 2 away. Time now for a look at the standings in this pool in Group 1. The United States beating Japan earlier today. If you missed that, that was 4-3, a thriller. With a call they're going to talk about for a long time as well that went against Japan. And in Pool 2, Cuba now 1-0. Puerto Rico with a big win over the Dominican Republic earlier tonight in San Juan. And Puerto Rico 1-0. And we'll see if Korea makes a change here, and indeed they will. Ian-Shik Kim makes a pitching decision and calls on his bullpen. Jong very tough to hit. Well, they all have been for Korea. More in a moment.
ESPN2's telecast of the World Baseball Classic is presented by the Taco Bell Chicken Caesar Grilled Stuffed Burrito, the burrito for Chicken Caesar salad lovers, and in part by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
Korea doing excellent work protecting a slim 2-1 lead against Mexico here in the top half of the 8th inning. And once again, dip into their deep bullpen, and the left-hander is Chung Kun Bong, who was shut down all last season because of shoulder surgery in the Cincinnati Reds organization. That one lined down the right field line by Garcia, but foul and out of play. He was originally drafted by the Atlanta Braves back in '97, and in 2003 he pitched for the Braves out of the bullpen.
EK, normally I talk about the pitchers that come in, but you face this guy. What did you see back then, and what do you see now?
Well, he's got a good breaking ball, but his fastball is deceptively quick. He can get inside. Again, when you have a left-hander that can get inside on a right-hander, they can be very effective.
Garcia 0 for 3. He has whiffed twice. He's also grounded out to short. Nobody on base for him, and now he's in the hole. 0-2.
Well, you wonder, with the right-hander Severino throwing so well, why Korea went to the left-handed reliever. Well, it has a lot to do with the hitter. Garcia much better from the left side, being a switch hitter, than he is from the right side, and he's deep in the hole right now with an 0-2 count.
Korea with BK Kim and Chan-Ho Park, a couple of very recognizable major leaguers in the bullpen right now, as that one just misses the outside corner.
Yeah, you got the Korean fans a little upset with the lack of the call there, but again, I think Guccione was all over Chan-Ho Park, getting ready.
He's the closer. 2 saves in the first round in the Asian bracket, way up high by Chung Kun Bong.
Bong could make this a lot easier on Chan-Ho coming in the 9th with nobody on than it would be if he had to come in and face the man in the on-deck circle right now, Cantu, as the go-ahead run.
The 2-2 pitch, way high again. So he's gone from 0-2 to 3-2 just like that. Mexico, by the way, has never had a single inning tonight would have had more than 1 base runner on at a time. Just trying to get the first man on here in the 8th inning. Korea leading it 2-1. And the lefty comes home. Grounded along the third base line. Zhang across the diamond. Good strong arm to get him. And another harmless inning. Mexico goes in order. 1-2-3 as we go to the bottom of the 8th in Anaheim. The World Baseball Classic, and this game was expected to be very well pitched. It certainly has lived up to that. Korea on top 2-1. Mexico makes a couple of changes. Benji Gil moves out from first base to right field. Miguel Ojeda is taking over at first base. David Cortez stays on to pitch, the right-hander, to take on 8, 9, and 1 in the Korean order here in the bottom of the 8th. And Mexico running out of opportunities, but come the 9th inning, they'll have Jorge Cantu, Vinny Castilla, and Rubio Durazo scheduled to bat. All three of them big-time home run threats against the Korean bullpen. And we're likely to see Chan-Ho Park going for Korea, so stay right where you are.
Well, and that's a situation where if Chan-Ho Park is able to record a save, that is a save that is definitely earned, because he's not coming in to face 8-9-1. He's facing the heart of that Mexican lineup.
G-Man Park 0 for 2. Stings that one, slicing to right. Gill tested, but he'll make the catch on the sinking line drive. One man out here in the 8th inning.
That's a nice play by Benji Gill. Benji Gill originally came into the league as a shortstop. Very accomplished fielder, spent a lot of time in the infield, but can play anywhere, as evidenced by that nice catch in the outfield.
So 1 up and 1 down. And Kim, the batter, tonight 42,779 the attendance at the Big A in Anaheim. He squares to bunt but takes a strike. So just under 43,000 packing the place for the World Baseball Classic.
You know, as exciting as this has been up to this point, I mean, all of a sudden now you get to the top of the 9th with this score. You can talk about stars and heroes. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that legends will be made of in this environment.
Down low for a ball on Kim.
Well, I think any of the critics or the doubters of this event, they haven't been around the event. I think they're making their judgments from newspapers and somewhere else where they don't actually come to the venue, see what's going on.
Swung on and missed.
Watch the games, get involved in the emotion, because if you're around it, you will definitely become engrossed.
Eric, I totally agree with you. And to me, it's all about the fans, and are they into it? Are they passionate about it? Are they having fun? Well, we know the answer to that now.
The 1-2 up top on Kim, and you mentioned the word engrossed. If you were not totally engrossed watching the United States and Japan earlier today from Anaheim, well, then you weren't watching the game, because it was just an outstanding ball game all the way around. There was controversy. There were great plays. There was a big clutch hit from Alex Rodriguez. That came with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th, and the bases loaded in a 3-3 tie. His single up the middle won it for Team USA in that much ballyhooed meeting with Japan. Had Sadahara 0-1 dugout.
And how about how far Derek Lee has come in the last calendar year? Always a good player, always a guy that got better every year. Well, he's gotten to the top of the ladder now as far as players are concerned.
Sure has. Another home run today. And here's the hit by Alex Rodriguez, the game winner for Team USA in the 9th.
Well, it wasn't the hardest hit ball, but it was absolutely the most effective. And A-Rod said afterwards that pitcher he was facing, an electric fastball, good breaking ball. He was just happy to get the bat on the ball and to come through for that United States ball club.
Sometimes the most famous hits are not the hardest hit. Remember Luis Gonzalez for the Arizona Diamondbacks? I remember Edgar Renteria with a base hit against the Cleveland Indians in 1997 in extra innings. And it's not like he hit that one 900 feet, but they go down as among the most glorious hits in baseball history.
It's not how you get it done, it's just getting it done.
Well, Mexico facing that scenario in the 9th inning, looking for someone to get it done, but Korea has outpitched them just by a hair so far tonight. Outside on Kim. 1 out here in the count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cortez got out of any 7th inning difficulty caused by a leadoff single by gambling on a double play ball on a bunt and gunning a strike to second base. Mexico brilliantly turned a double play. Then he struck out Gene to end the inning. Now he walks a man. Ball 4 to Kim. A 1-out free pass in the 8th inning, and a key base runner here as Correa looks for some breathing.
Boy, in a key moment, too. I mean, you get the first guy out on a great play by your right fielder, and then you walk the number 9 guy. You are asking for trouble.
Joaquin Estrada will ask for a pitching change. That'll do it for Cortez. Ricardo Rincon, the left-hander, will be the man he calls on here. In the 8th inning, 2-1 Correa, and we're back in a moment. Team Mexico making a pitching change. They bring on the veteran left-hander Ricardo Rincon. Defense has really kept Mexico in this ball game tonight.
Well, and if you're not going to do it offensively, you've got to do it defensively. And Team Mexico has been doing it all night, taking away extra base hits, making nice plays to end innings, and of course turning that important double play. And it hasn't just been on one occasion, it's been throughout the ball game. And in any one of those instances, if Team Mexico doesn't make the play, it gives Korea an opportunity to score. And in a one-run ball game, every run is important.
And you look offensively at the problems Mexico's had. They've only had 4 total base runners. But if Rincon is able to keep the score where it's at, 2 of the 4 base runners that they have had for Team Mexico are the first 2 hitters.
Well, in his major league career, Rincon has allowed just 19% of the runners he inherited when he entered a game to score. That's the best ratio among major league pitchers since the records were first kept back in 1974. So smart move made, the obvious move you might say by Estrada, with a runner at first base and 1 man out. And Lee, the hitter, here in front of nearly 43,000 tonight. Kim, the base runner at first. Korea only 5 hits on the board, but holding Mexico is set at 4. That's on the outside corner for a strike.
Well, Rincon, a situational lefty, meaning he comes in throughout his career to face left-handed hitters, and he has been very successful. Last few years, an integral part of that Oakland Athletic bullpen. He's now a member of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tony La Russa will be very fond of him coming into the year.
35 years old. That one driven to dead center field. Garcia backs up, turns, and makes the catch. Kim back to first base, 2 down. And so Rincon does it again. He gets that first man.
And it doesn't matter how you do it. I don't care if it's a fly ball to center field, a line drive at somebody. Just come get him out. And he was able to do that.
So 2 down, and Lee will get in here for Korea. He has singled and double and also flied to right field. Rincon, and it's popped up. The shortstop Castro into the outfield, backpedaling. He's got it. Side retired, 1 man left. Chan-Ho Park coming out of the bullpen for Korea, where he's been brilliant so far in the Classic, facing Cantu, Castilla, and Durazo. Big bats coming up for Mexico. Korea closing in on a victory here against Mexico in round 2, pull 1. As we make it on to the 9th inning in Anaheim, California. Rick Sutcliffe, Eric Karras, Dave O'Brien, and Duke Castiglione with you. Well, this gentleman was just terrific, perfect in round 1 virtually. As he went 4 innings, allowing just 2 hits. Chan-Ho Park working out of the closer spot.
How about that? He was in the San Diego Padres clubhouse a couple of nights ago, and jokingly, the Padres' outstanding general manager Kevin Towers came by and told Chan-Ho, he said, hey, Trevor better look out. Of course, talking about Trevor Hoffman, but you know what? He has been outstanding. He has got a tough spot right now to nail this one down.
In-Sung Cho also takes over the catching duties for Korea, so a whole new battery for Team Korea here. And all sorts of trouble coming up in the batter's box. Mexico bringing up Jorge Cantu, Vinny Castilla, and Arubio Durazo. And if they're going to rally and win this ball game tonight, this is their best hope. First pitch in there for a strike in the 9th inning. Cantu is 1 for 3 with a single. Looks like the 3 amigos ready to cheer Mexico to a come-from-behind victory tonight.
Tell you what, it's everywhere. They can just go ahead and take the seats out of this stadium. I mean, they've been standing for the last couple of innings, and you know that the Mexican fans, they knew what was coming up. They knew Cantu was leading off, as did the Korean fans know that Chan Ho was coming in, their guy.
Chan Ho ready, man. The 0-2 pitch to Cantu. Strike three, got him swinging. Cantu wanted an appeal from the first base umpire, but Guccione, the home plate umpire, rings him up instead. One down in the ninth.
Well, I don't know if you should really be asking for an appeal, because I don't think it was a question of whether he went or didn't go. It was a great pitch by Chan Ho, a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. I think Cantu is arguing, hey, I didn't go, which from this replay it did look like he went, but regardless, the ball seemed to cross the plate. A big out for Chan Ho.
One man out, and Vinny Castilla will step in here. He is 1 for 3 with a base hit back in the 4th inning. Mexico's only run on a solo home run in the 3rd off the bat of Luis Alfonso Garcia. They have been held to 4 hits tonight. Inside for ball 1.
Well, that's where you get egos involved right there. That is fastball. Chan Ho has been known for throwing a 90-plus fastball, going up, giving it to Vinny Castilla, first pitch fastball hitter.
Breaking ball back up through the middle. A clean single for Vinny Castilla. And some hope here for Mexico. They have a base runner, down 1 in the 9th.
Well, that was a confrontation of the 2 leaders of their respective clubs. Chan Ho being the leader of this Team Korea, and obviously Vinny Castilla, the captain of this Mexican ball club.
Yi-Shik Kim, the manager, coming out. A base runner now. Mexico will bring on for Vinny Castilla. Gets a big hand from the fans behind the dugout along the first base side.
Eric, you saw Chan Ho when he had all the success as a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. To me, there was a comfort zone that he had with that ball club. He like a lot of Dodger pitchers, performed better at home than he did on the road. It's almost like he lost that comfort zone when he went to Texas. Maybe the big contract, whatever. I got a feeling if he still has the ability left, the Padres and their manager, Bruce Bochy, will get him back into that zone, and they'll find a role where he can be successful.
I think you're exactly right. He's somebody that pitching at Dodger Stadium is a pitcher's ballpark. He goes to Arlington, that's a hitter's ballpark. But again, you're out of your element. But Chan Ho, at one time, 96, 97, one of the best pitchers in the game.
Here's Durazo now, certainly a home run hitter, 0 for 3 tonight. Has yet to hit a home run in the Classic. Now, last season, elbow surgery, Tommy John surgery, shut him down in July. He only hit 4 home runs, but the last home run that he hit before he was shut down for the season came off of Chan Ho Park. And he faces him here in March in the World Baseball Classic. The runner on at first in Cruz, and it's way outside. 2-0.
But Chan Ho not wanting to make a mistake where one hit can beat him. I mean, one hit means a home run. He's going to nibble at both ends of the plate. And if Durazo, he doesn't get him, you go to the next hitter, Geronimo Gil. Adrian Gonzalez, a very accomplished hitter, is out of the ball game. Really, this is the last big hitter for Team Mexico.
Big home run cut, but he foul tipped it at the plate. 2-1.
Tell you what, Chan Ho's made a nice adjustment here. He's going the 4-seam fastball on the first 2 hitters. Look at the downward movement on this 2-seam fastball. It's a sinking fastball. It's designed to get a ground ball. Durazo with not good speed. You get a ground ball at somebody, this game could be over with.
106 Major League wins for Chan Ho, the most ever by a Korean-born pitcher. But looking to pick up a save here against Mexico in the World Baseball Classic. Great off-speed pitch and got him looking. In there for a strike. The count 2-2.
Now that's going to take some sting out of a power hitter's bat. you've proved that you can throw the breaking ball over when you're behind in the count. You've got a 93 to 96 mile-an-hour four-seamer. You've got a sinker. Chan Ho right now pitching with a lot of confidence.
Let's see if he comes back with that offering again on Durazo. With Cruz getting that lead at first base and 1 out in the 9th inning. The runner goes. Ground ball to second. Kim up with it. They stay out of the double play.
How about that? Eric, you mentioned it earlier, the aggressiveness on the part of Team Mexico. They weren't afraid to steal a base behind by a run. They weren't afraid defensively to try to turn a double play. They got it done. If Joaquin Estrada does not send the runner right there, everybody else is going to be sent home.
Well, you absolutely can't get on Team Mexico for sitting on their hands. And it goes to that old adage, you can watch it happen, wonder what happened, or make it happen. And Team Mexico is trying to make it happen tonight.
So here's Geronimo Gil. It all falls to him right now with 2 down in the 9th. Mexico down by 1. Korea 1 out away from a big victory here in round 2. Gil on the night is 0 for 3. But the tying run is at second base here for Mexico. Downstairs for ball 1.
Trying to find that extra gear right now. That last pitch at 93, whatever velocity he can reach tonight, that's what he's going to try to reach back and get this final out.
Chan Ho trying to pick up his 3rd save of the Classic. That breaking ball inside, it's off the glove. Runner trying to move up, no throw, and Cruz is in there just 90 feet away. Mishandled by the catcher, Sun Cho.
You know, that actually turns out to be a smart play by the catcher. I mean, a smart play. He didn't compound his mistake. First, he lets the ball get by him. Now, sometimes in an excited state, you get up and you try and make a play out of nothing, which he could have ended up throwing the ball down the left field line. Smartly, he held the ball, go after the hitter, leave that runner at third.
So Cruz is at third base with a count of 2-0. Gil checked his swing, and the pitch is up high. The appeal, and they say no swing. 3 balls, no strikes on Geronimo Gil. Benji Gil in the on-deck area. And more high drama here in Anaheim. Earlier today, we saw the United States pull out a come-from-behind win over Japan in the 9th inning.
See if Team Mexico stays with that aggressive nature and lets Gil swing 3-0.
He's not, and it's a strike. 3-1.
You know, I'll tell you, in that situation, I've almost got to give the green light to my hitter, because you've got a 3-0 situation. If that pitch is down the middle, you swing. Otherwise, the guy's at first, and now the next hitter starts at an 0-0 count. And I'd clearly much rather have a guy 3-0 swinging the bat than somebody starting 0-0.
The hitters count for Gil. A runner at third, 2 down. A 1-1 game. Fouled away. Just got a piece of it. And the count fills up. General Park pouring in a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Look at that. He reached back and he found 1 more mile an hour to get that ball by Gil. He's proven that he could throw his breaking ball over when he needed to. What's his decision going to be now? 1 more mile an hour on the fastball to try to find, or throw that breaking ball down and away?
Korea 1 strike away from the victory. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. He came with a breaking ball and struck out Gil to end it. And Korea holds off Mexico and strands a runner at third base. The final score, 2-1.
I tell you what, nobody expected Korea to beat Japan, but they did. An exciting win. I don't think anybody really expected them to beat Mexico here tonight, but you know what? They have done that. And the one common denominator they had has been their closer, Chan Ho Park, coming up huge again.
The Team Korea has been great, unbelievable pitching, great defense, and this is their 3rd game in which was decided by less than 2 runs, and that will continue to be important as Korea moves on throughout this tournament.
5 hitting Mexico and beating them 2-1. Here's the final play. Jan Ho Park celebrating his 3rd save of the Classic. He has been dynamite. He strikes out 2 men in the 9th, including the last hitter, Gill. He came back with a breaking ball to ice it. And Korea celebrates the win over Mexico here in round 2 in Anaheim.
I mean, it's almost disbelief in the eyes of that young team from Korea, but I tell you what, they're starting to believe. And one thing we know, their pitching has again been outstanding. 4 games now in the World Baseball Classic. Their combined ERA is 1.
And they get the United States tomorrow here in Anaheim.